This episode of the Co-optional Podcast is proudly sponsored by Squarespace. Whether you need a domain name, website, or online store, make your next move with squarespace.com/cooptional.
Okay, welcome to the Co-optional Podcast.
Yay, you should be able to hear us now.
Hello.
Should we redo all of the bits that we did while we were muted?
I'm not sure. We'll see.
Hey,
we'll
Doctor,
see.
it's me. It's God.
Hello, Jesse. I mean, hello, God.
Hello. Hello, Doctor.
I'm trying to combine all of them to make
all the bits. We're combining all of our bits. We had some good bits. Y'all missed out. Y'all missed out on our awesome bits.
It's true.
I'm going to try and make the beginning like a mesh of... I'm going to have to edit... I'm going to have to edit a video before it goes up on the channel.
Welcome.
Whoa.
I don't know nothing about those buttons and things.
That's fine.
Okay.
I don't either.
So this is amazing because it's Co-optional Podcast is supposed to start at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. It is now 3:47 Eastern Time.
Okay.
So
Yeah, but it's not even like 1 o'clock here. So really, what is time but a construct, man?
True.
Yeah.
wow.
True.
And E3 took place in LA, which is 3 hours behind where I am. So this is just me being
did it
early,
even
right?
happen?
Yeah. Was it even real? Did it even occur? I don't know.
Who can say? Who can say?
Yeah,
Okay,
no one really knows.
E3. I
Yes.
guess we should probably just go around and at least let people know sort of what we, I guess, covered of it or saw it of it.
Sure.
Words are a thing. So I did the Snarkathon by
Right.
myself.
I hear you crushed it.
It would have been great to have someone to bounce off of, but I knew that Brooke, you were already on Dropped Frames, and
Yeah.
I knew Jesse was going to be actually at the convention, even though the doors don't really open to the E3 convention until after all of the conferences, but you were probably also at the conferences, so
Yes.
I didn't bother
Yes.
to ask anybody to join in because I was feeling a bit like a loner, and so it was just me and chat, and we had a fantastic
Then
time.
you weren't alone. You had all of chat to snark with you.
This is true. This is
Yeah.
true. So that was a wonderful experience. Brooke, you were on Dropped Frames. How many conferences did you do?
I didn't do all of them. I didn't do Bethesda. I wasn't there for Sony. But I did most of them.
That Sony conference. Jesse and I, we know.
I wound up being like the anti-snark on Dropped Frames, so I did the opposite of you.
Yeah, I had a great, I had zero snark. There was a lot of things where I was like, I didn't like that, but there are things I did enjoy, and I was like, well, I'm okay now, so it's fine.
Yeah.
I'm usually the kind of anti-snark of the Snarkathon, but unfortunately, without John here, I had to sort of be me and him.
Yeah. You had to adopt the snark.
And it's like, I don't want to make anyone uncomfortable who does have this, but I also have bipolar disorder. So having that actually kind of helped in a weird way. That doesn't sound right and probably not politically correct at all, but there you have it. So
Great.
That was fun. So Jesse, you were actually there. What did you actually attend as far as the conferences were concerned?
Are we starting with conferences?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
I was at Indie PopCon the weekend before, so I missed EA, which really means I missed nothing.
Nothing.
Let's be real. I missed nothing. Except Ori, I thought was like really cool.
Mm-hmm.
And I got to play that, and I'll talk about that later. And that one game that's like basically Jesse Horror Simulator, the one where it's like in the water and there's like the shadow people. Oh, F that game. I'm going to play it, but F that game. It looks terrifying.
What? It looks great.
terrifying. It
What?
Sea of Solitude?
Yeah. That
Okay.
looks like those two were awesome. Those were my takeaways from EA. Was there was 2 games I was like, good job, EA. Those are 2 great indie games that you helped get done. Other than that, everything else I could care less about. I watched it and was like, okay, whatever. And then Sunday was Xbox and Bethesda. There were other things Sunday too. Devolver, I believe, was Sunday, and I don't remember, was it PC Sunday? Whatever the case may be, I didn't go to those, but Bethesda I had a great time at that conference. Everyone on the internet was snarking the hell out of it and like giving them shit, but I loved it. I had a great time.
What did Bethesda do aside from Fallout?
So basically, Bethesda's conference, like, first off, we'll get to Xbox in a minute, but Bethesda's conference literally was like, hi, you've all seen Rage. Well, here's Andrew WK. And I was like, okay, yay. And then, it was, because it's a business conference, poor Andrew WK is up there just like rocking as hard as he can.
Wailing on
and
a
the
keyboard.
Audience, the audience is like,
they're like, who is this rock Jesus and why is he here?
It's like a My Chemical Romance concert.
It was
everybody's too emo to respond.
Yeah, it was just so sad. But you could tell everyone people enjoyed what was happening, but no one wanted to be that person at an E3 who's like, I'm having fun. It's weird. E3, swear to God, E3 is a conference where like you don't want to be the person who everyone's like, that guy's enjoying himself. That's seriously what it's like. And so that was interesting. And then after they did that, they went and what was the other games they were talking about before we got to Fallout?
Rage, that would be Fallout 76. Then Starfield was near the end.
They promoted a bunch of Elder Scrolls stuff, but mostly
Quake Champions,
Tamriel Online and stuff like that, and then Blades, which is literally
mobile
oh my God.
phone. Oh, it's in portrait mode. Oh my gosh, you can sit there at your office and you can like scroll and kill things.
It is one. After having played it a little bit, it is 100%. I'm trying to think of the name of the damn game, but it was an iOS game, and they made 3 of them. And the whole point is you just like went from room to room collecting gold, and then you'd end up in an encounter. You do the fight, but the iPhone version is you would slash the screen and hold defense. This is you hold defense and then press and hold a button to attack. Literally Infinity Blade. Yeah, it's literally Infinity Blade.
But it's in
Blade.
Portrait mode and it adapts it between if it's in landscape or portrait.
It does. It does it very well. It destroys your battery, but it does that very well. Yeah.
But you can hold your coffee in one hand and the phone in the other, and that was his big thing. I was just like, oh, is that really your pitch?
I mean, I'll be real with you. I sometimes feel that way with games. I'm not gonna lie. He spoke to me on that. I was like, yeah, I don't want to have to play it sideways like I'm driving a race car on my phone. Like I want to look like I'm on business. Yeah. Just make a game that I want to play that way, and I will play it.
I just believe all apps should do that by default. Like I'm really angry that so many apps don't allow for the switching. So I mean, it feels like a weird give to give them that when it's like all apps should actually be doing that by default. So it's not something really revolutionary, but it was a big deal to them.
Doom. They talked about the new Doom. Pretty excited for that. That looks awesome. Then they went to Fallout 76, and when they initially announced it, it was sort of everyone in the crowd was like, okay, so it's online, cool. But the more they kept talking, the more they won over. Look, they won that crowd over, and I hope most people had the same reaction I did, which is like, oh, that's neat. Oh, that's neat. And then when they were like, and then you can nuke all your friends, I was like, I'm in. You got me. I'm in. Oh, I now know what I want to do. Neat. Yeah, I was like, that is very neat. I definitely think it's one of those games where, unlike other Fallouts, this one will be like pretty hot for about a month or two, especially on Twitch when people are doing their whole like, we're walking around, we're making groups, and we're all bandits, and we're gonna go like mess with people. There's gonna be stuff like that, and I guarantee it'll be big on Twitch for like a month or two. Other than that, I feel like this one doesn't have the longevity of a real RPG, but I could be wrong. I could be very, very wrong. And then they dropped the fact that they're working on this a new franchise, and then they said, oh, by the way, Elder Scrolls 6, and then they were like, in more stuff to come. Also, the one thing I did take away, the thing I thought was the best, was the Prey announcement.
For the moon. Oh gosh, what is it called? The
the one they announced, it's like Prey Moon something.
Yeah.
That is literally
DLC.
They announced two things.
It's a mode. Yeah.
They announced 2 modes. The first one is it's basically a roguelite where you go through and Moon Crash. You start it up every time you start. It starts differently and different scenarios, and you have to live as long as you can. Then it resets you, right? Which is fun. The thing I'm excited about is the Typhon mode or whatever that thing's called. That's the one That's the biggest takeaway I took from the entire conference was like, that's the game to play. Literally, it's 1v5 or 1v4. I can't remember if it's 5-player or 1v5. But the whole point is one person is the character and everyone else is a mimic. And your whole job, Typhon Hunter, your whole job is to hide as cups or bananas or whatever and kill the person. So literally, it's a jump scare. Yes, absolutely. But it's jump scare with friends, done with like awesome graphics in Prey. I'm ready. Like that's a game I will stream the fuck out of that. I was like, yes. I was like very excited. Wolfenstein, they announced the new game is co-op and you play as his daughters.
Right.
Yes. I think that's cool, but I don't know anything about it. But it's Wolfenstein, so I'm going to play it anyway. But it's in the 80s and that's all we know. But the thing I took out of the entire conference is walking away being like, prop hunt, button Prey, I'm in. And that's going to be awesome. That's going to be really, really cool. Yeah.
Cool.
Nice.
Xbox was, I thought, like a good conference this year. Usually they kind of are jank, but Xbox I thought had a lot of, like, they just were like, here's a game, and here's a game, and here's a game, and here's a game. And I was pretty okay with that. They had the guy come out saying he wanted to bang a car as usual, and there was no Minecraft this year, so that was great.
They did all that last year. We were done.
I was just like, the Xbox conference was pretty good. Usually they're not, but I was excited. And
the Xbox conference was great. EA was terrible.
EA was not good. The Xbox conference, just for the record, was good, then became great in the last like 5 minutes when it was like, we're hacking the conference. I was like,
of course.
I had a moment. I almost passed out from excitement, but that Cyberpunk reveal was everything I ever wanted in gaming. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So I guess now that we're talking about the conferences, I guess we should probably kind of go a bit in order if we can.
Sure.
So EA, that's what kicked it all off. So I'm just going to go through basically what was released. And if you guys want to talk about anything. So the EA Games wrap-up, Battlefield 5 Battle Royale. Mm-hmm. Because we need more Battle Royale in our lives.
You know what? Maybe we do. Maybe that's the other day. So
they need to compete, so I understand.
Yeah.
Yeah, like at night, during the day, I don't really keep them open because it gets 12,000 degrees. But in my apartment, if I just open the windows at night, it's very nice. I now can see across the way at someone's apartment. They have a giant ass TV, and every night they play Fortnite. Every night. I don't know who this person is, but I see it on their TV, and they love it. And they're actually pretty. I've watched a little. They're pretty good. But maybe we do need more. Maybe like it's a thing. Maybe I'm just too old to be into it, but people love this shit. So all right.
You know, I have to admit, I really love watching Realm Royale on Twitch. The new one that's like fantasy based. I've really enjoyed watching it.
Yeah, I think if they had more games with that option, again, I've said it before, I'll say it again. I hope it's in one of the numerous Sea of Thieves expansions. Sea of Thieves Royale, make it happen. That would be a great thing.
Just so many ships.
Yeah, 100 players on a map competing for treasure. There's only one treasure. Just go nuts. Kill each other. And people can group up, but then like if you group up and you have the treasure, only one person can turn in, so who makes it back alive? Come on. That'd be amazing. Just saying.
I prefer to watch Battle Royale. I just don't really like playing in them because I feel like I let everyone down.
Yeah.
But hey, it's going to be a thing. It is like the term like roguelite was like 3 years ago. It's like now everything Battle Royale. It's like, what is your game? Oh, Battle Royale. It's like, okay. So after Battlefield 5 Battle Royale, they went into this whole spiel about cloud gaming and Origin Premiere.
Yeah, I mean, what is cloud gaming?
Okay, so
are we ever gonna find that out?
They are trying to compete with Sony's PlayStation Now. So literally, I think it's just maybe your cloud games are saved between devices and things. I'm not entirely certain.
Cool.
That's what it seemed like.
The Origin Premiere is basically going up against Xbox Game Pass. So again, them just trying to compete. I actually they didn't announce it at the conference, but I was kind of intrigued because I already have like the, John had the premium whatever Origin thing, which I think is just like Origin Pro or whatever Origin Premium is, where you just pay that little bit for the first tier and you have a certain amount of games available. But they didn't announce in the conference what this Origin Access Premiere was going to be, so I went and like Googled it for people who were actually physically there because I wanted to know what exactly is this next tier. It's like, what are you doing? So Origin Access Premiere gives full access to EA's games on PC, unlimited access to Sims 4, lol, that's literally a feature, unlimited access to Sims 4. And Premiere unlocks all the benefits of Origin Access Basic, which already gives you access to 95 plus PC games, and it's supposedly going to cost $15 per month or $100 per year. But the big deal with that is that things like Madden and things that weren't previously available, I guess, on PC are now going to be available through that. It seems like a hard sell for me.
Cool. Yeah.
It's just them trying to compete. That's all I kind of got from that. I guess with it not being a hardware year, a lot of companies are having to do that, just like with the Sony conference. You'd heard nothing about hardware. Microsoft, you heard nothing about hardware. Obviously, we're coming to the end of a generation, but right now we're still kind of late, mid.
Yeah.
So that makes
sense. For coming
sense.
to the end of a generation, last year was a lot about hardware.
Yeah.
And this year...
Nothing about hardware. Yeah.
It's all.
I actually hadn't thought about that until now.
This year, it seems to be more of, and I'm sure I'll have a full rant on this in a video at some point, but gaming as a service instead of a product. This is going to be the debate. That's what's going to happen.
I'm also curious about the companies that are holding off, waiting for the next gen. So, for example, from conversations that I had at E3, I think it's pretty safe to say that after a lot of missteps and problems that they had with Final Fantasy VII, the remake, I think the answer is that Sony is waiting for a PS5. And I think Elder Scrolls 6 is also on that like trajectory of next gen consoles. There's a lot of people who are like, yeah, we've got games coming, but we're not going to release them on a PS4 right now. So I think there's going to be a lot of people who should be excited and looking forward to the next gen, but also that the next gen's way far off. Good luck. That's like 2 years. We might see it next year, like hey, this is a PS5, but yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. So after this whole spiel about cloud gaming at EA, we went into Battlefront, new content for that Star Wars game that was like the first one, but it has a 2 after it. So, it's obviously a sequel.
You muted yourself, Dukes. You're muted.
That poor fucking dude who came out and had to talk about that game. I felt so bad. He was just like, hey guys, so we fucked up a little, right? I was like, oh, you poor baby.
I felt bad. Then Sea of Solitude, which it was the game that Jesse was talking about. I think it looked interesting. The dev who came out to talk about it, I felt kind of badly for her because she seemed, I believe that was the bit where she was a bit like scattered. You know, she was so proud of her baby that she was
seemed
emotional.
very nervous. Yeah,
I felt so bad. My anxiety feels were like, girl, I am with you. But at the same time, this is a snarkathon, so I kind of have to hate on it a bit. But I didn't want to, but I did it anyway.
I love when devs are like really nervous to talk about their game because it feels like they really care about it.
It's the Yarny guy all over again, where he's like
the Yarny guy. Yeah.
Oh, I'm so happy to show you my baby, and you're like, oh, I love you, Yarny guy. Yeah, I like that.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of which, Unravel 2, which is basically Brothers, A Tale of Two Yarns.
We played that. I'll tell you about it. It is super fun.
Tell about it.
Oh, okay, I'll tell you now.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah. So, I know it's called Unravel, but it's basically Yarny 2. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. But from moment one, you can change your color. You can change your look. So the color of yarn and the way Yarny looks is different for each of the two characters. And it is, you know what it's really, really like? It's less Tale of Two Sons and more, remember that game that we played, Dukes, where we were the two slimes?
Yep.
And we had to hold hands to go around the map? It's exactly like that game. Okay. It is almost I'm literally just gonna go to my YouTube page and figure out the name of this game because I love that game. It was called like Happy Slime Goo. What was the name of that game?
Blobbing around.
Not blobbing around. It was something. It was.
You can do it. We believe in you.
It was a Fan Friday, wasn't it?
It was. I'm literally just.
Go through your Fan Fridays.
That's what I'm doing.
Do it.
It was Putty Pals.
There we go.
So
we were close. Blobbing around.
Look up the name of the game, Putty Pals. And the basic premise is that it is you're two little slimes, and in order to get around the map, you have to hold hands and swing each other and like balance and use each other to like get around the map. Literally the same concept, except it looks photorealistic beautiful. Everything about the world is incredible looking, and then you play as two little yarn guys.
And it's out, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep, it's out right now, and the mechanics are literally like if you jump over a thing, you can pull someone to help, like you can pull their yarn, or you can both stop the yarn from extending, so you can like do cool maneuvers. But yeah, it's very, very neat. It's gorgeous, just like the first one, and it definitely has a story. I don't know what it is, but from what I can gather, an old lady with a bag of yarn drowned at sea, and you have to get back to her house? ? I really don't know what happened. All I know is
that sounds so sad.
A suitcase of yarn washes up on a shore, and you're just in there. And I'm like, who had a suitcase of yarn? The old yarn lady is my theory. So,
gotcha.
Yeah, I don't know. That's the actual story.
Okay, that sounds like a Jesse theory. Yeah.
Yeah, but it was very cute. It's a very cute game.
Gotcha.
Yeah, Unravel 2, obviously the difference here is that you can play by yourself, but there will always be two yarns. So the idea that you can play co-op, but by yourself is...
It's kind of like Trine. Trine is like that.
Yeah.
But Unravel 2 is out already, so... Fellow YouTubers, I'm sure, will be covering that.
It plays very, very well. The controls are super responsive.
It's so pretty.
It's also very, very pretty.
Yeah. After that, they went. Oh man, this one hurts. This one hurts so badly. Command and Conquer Rivals.
Yo, not even gonna lie, I tuned out. I was at Indie PopCon while it was happening, and I was watching the stream on my phone. And I literally stopped watching. I couldn't tell you what that game was. The minute they were like mobile, I was like, boop, don't care.
On
Dropped Frames, everybody was like, man, it's so weird that they're having a funeral for Command and Conquer during this press conference.
It's so true. It's so true, though. I felt really horrible about the fact that some personalities in esports that I know of were involved in the...
Jeff!
Yeah, Nathanius was casting, and Jeff in Control Robinson was playing as one of the pro gamers. So
I
think
Thanius was there too.
I think that Jeff is probably at least in the top 3 Command and Conquer Rivals players in the world.
I think so.
Right now, probably.
Yeah. I didn't even know he was involved. That's how fast I turned off the stream.
Yeah.
This is when everyone in chat's talking about Jeff. They're like, "Yeah, Jeff," and I'm like, "Was he on the Snarkathon? Did he like talk shit about the game?"
No,
Nope.
he was there
on the stage.
No clue.
Jessup.
No clue.
They paid him cash money to be there, and all I have to say is that it sounds appealing, but why did they have to do that with CNC? Like,
they spent
all
a
we
lot
want...
of time on it too.
Yeah.
Like, too much time trying to push this game on us.
Well, the same thing with Blades at Bethesda.
Yes.
Like, it just was so much time. And I get it, because the one thing I heard the entire conference, on the floor, in meetings, everyone was like, mobile is money.
Yep.
Oh,
and that's like, they're like, the more mobile games you can make, the better. Boy, do I not care. Boy, was I like, I just don't care.
I mean, it's true. Like, when I think for all of us, when people ask us how we feel about E3, it's like, sure, we get a lot of information about it, but it's like, E3 is for the investors.
It's a business conference, yeah.
Business partnerships. And like, that's the reason why they focus so much on that sort of stuff, is to be like, see, we're doing mobile shit.
Yeah, if you're wondering why every conference has to include something along the lines of like, last year, our player base grew by 15%, and we had a year-over-year average growth. The reason why all that garbage is in there is because that's for the people who have given them money to make games. Yeah, they're like, see, you're going to get your return on your investment, that kind of stuff. It is, none of this is for us. We're just lucky we get to see it, is really what it is now.
Yeah.
So,
mobile gaming, that's a thing. All the investor dollars, all of them.
Yep.
So after that, we had Anthem, and very much versus Destiny-ish kind of situation.
Anthem was really interesting because people were so fucking excited to hear about Anthem. And then after we heard about Anthem, it seemed like people forgot that we heard about it.
That was my one takeaway from the entire weekend. I went out to lunch Thursday, and that was like the conversation where I was like, remember how Saturday everyone was talking about Anthem, and then they showed Anthem and nobody cared about Anthem? What happened? It was the big thing at this year's E3, and I was like, do they have it on the show floor? Did anyone see it? And people were like, no. I guess they didn't show it at E3 either. I have no clue. I don't know what happened, but everyone was hyped to get information. They got information, and then no one gave a shit.
Yeah.
Aww.
Interesting.
That's a shame.
Well, I think a lot of people, and I haven't played Destiny really, but a lot of people were like, oh, it's the Destiny classes.
Yeah.
So maybe because there were too many things that felt like they were pulled directly from other games, people were like, oh, this isn't as unique and new as I thought it was going to be, so it didn't stand out anymore.
It's the same thing with Paladins and the one game that came out, I can't remember the damn name of it, that came out around the time of Overwatch. I feel bad because we talked about it a bunch.
Battleborn. No,
Battleborn.
Battleborn? Not Battleborn. Wait.
Battle something. Battle.
Wait, it's not Battleborn, is it? Fuck.
Bloodborne? Battleborn? I don't.
Is it Battleborn? Shit.
That's. I feel so bad. But that's
Googling it. It's Battleborn. It is Battleborn.
But that's the thing is, like, you already forget.
I've already discarded that information apparently.
But all these games that came out during the same time as Overwatch that had the similar Overwatch vibes that were definitely there to compete with Overwatch. People were just like, why wouldn't I just play Overwatch? Same thing with MMOs. Everyone's like, why wouldn't I just play WoW? And I think in this case, everyone's like, why wouldn't I just play Destiny if you're making Destiny light?
Right. I think the one thing that I took away from them talking about Anthem during that EA conference was basically the quote, Anthem creators want a dynamic living world, not an MMO with story bolted onto the side. And I was just like, oh, I wonder who that was aimed at. Could it have been Microsoft? Could it have been the people who work on Destiny? Oh, I have no idea. So I don't know. I'm.
But what does that mean, though? Saying you have a living world doesn't say story to me. That says you create the story, purchaser, which is bullshit.
Right.
Like, I don't want to have to make my fun. That's your job. You're the dev. You make fun for me.
I think they were just trying to say that to like sort of offset everybody else's expectations falling short, because I feel like what we saw this year for Anthem is basically what we saw last year at E3
Exactly.
for Anthem. We did actually see a bit of gameplay, and I'm always wanting to see the gameplay at E3, but I don't really have high expectations for gameplay because it's E3. It's for shareholders, it's for investors, it's for people who are, devs wanting to look for publishers looking for their market, and they want to share demographics and drinks with each other afterwards and pat themselves on the back about how good of a job they did. Have a good E3, everybody. So, I am looking forward to seeing Anthem when it's finished, but I'm not really hyped about continuing to follow it until it's finished because it has seemed pretty sluggish. I feel like we didn't really learn too much new information, and again, I wasn't there in person. I wasn't on the show floor. Maybe they had other things that I did not see, but
I did not even see it on the show floor. That's why I tweeted about it. I was like, does anyone know what's going on with Anthem? Because I haven't seen shit. I haven't heard word one about the game. So,
and for the amount of time it took up during the conference, because I believe we saw Anthem during at least 2 conferences, maybe 3 conferences. We saw Anthem a lot, so I just expected a bit more. But after that, actually, way before that, we had sports. Yay, Krendor, enjoy your sports ball. New
of
FIFA,
course.
new
We're always
Madden.
gonna have big sports section.
I can't even. I'll let you know this. Even though I've never bought a FIFA game or enjoyed the idea of soccer, when I was in Poland, I must have played hours of FIFA.
Really?
Yeah, they were like, we have a PlayStation setup. You want to just chill? And I was like, okay. I created my own team. I bought and sold players and had a great time. I played for 3 hours. I was like, yeah, I kind of get this. I scored goals. I had a winning season. It was very impressive for a first timer. I felt really good. I'm not going to buy it. I never will, but I get it. I get why people want to be involved in the sports ball.
Sorry. No, I was just going to say, Jesse, I think that was just due to your exposure to the salt mine.
You know what? I was underground for a long time. That could have been
and
it.
I'm just putting that out there. Maybe that's what happened.
It's all I had.
Go ahead, Brooke.
I was down on the ground for days. It's all I had.
I was going to say, when my family was visiting, I was talking with my brother, and he was like, yeah, I basically only care about FIFA.
Oh, wow.
And, I
get that.
He likes playing other games, but every year he's super jazzed for FIFA. That's his game. There's a lot of people where that's the case,
Most of the world, actually. So
we are the minority. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, we're the problem, really.
I 100% agree. We are the problem. So that's basically all of EA. The only thing I really looked forward to from EA was Unravel 2, even though it does look a bit like Brothers, but it's really pretty, and so I'm probably going to play it anyway.
It is. There are moments where you're playing it where you literally have I know this is a video game, but it feels like they just put Yarny over the background of a really nice forest.
Right.
So after EA was the Microsoft conference. Now, Brooke, tell me again, which ones did you actually do on Dropped Frames?
I was there for Microsoft.
Okay,
I was
great.
there for EA.
Then we can talk about this. Yay!
Yeah.
All right. So they opened up with Halo 6, right?
Yeah, they opened up with trying to freak you out moment where it was in-game footage, and they didn't say what it is, and there was no music, and then all of a sudden it was
then you
hey,
see
this is Halo.
Yeah.
I was like, cool. I am convinced that was Halo Royale.
I made the same joke.
Convinced of it. And I'm excited. You know what? Halo Royale will be great for Xbox. They'll kill it. I have no doubt about that.
Halo Infinite announced for Xbox One.
Right. We didn't see any gameplay. We just saw a cutscene.
Yeah.
And then Master Chief hey, those are other players in Halo Royale.
No,
is what he said. I think that's how it went.
Yeah.
That's what I heard.
Yeah.
What had happened was
Halo Royale.
then we went into some Ori, I believe.
Yo.
Oh my god.
What a great way to start.
Beautiful.
They took Ori and somehow made it 12 billion times better looking.
That's what I was like, Ori was already a gorgeous game. Like, how did they make it even more beautiful? Question mark.
Knows.
We got to play it afterwards.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Talk about it.
So the bit that we got to play, it was a desert map, and the way this one is you have your little like Ori sword, and you can bounce around, do all the jumps. But the thing you unlock is you now have the ability to like travel through sand like a little worm, like go through sand.
Okay.
And you can use that to spring out of the sand or to go between platforms. So instead of like jumping onto a platform, you can literally go through a platform and rocket yourself off the other top if there's like dirt in the platform. You can there are different like sandwormy enemies that try to get you, but you can use their paths to like speed up and stuff. And so there's a bunch of ways that you now, instead of going around the level platform, you can literally just go through the level. And nice. I was like, oh, but that also means there's hidden treasures and things literally on the bottom of the map or on different outside areas. But with that said, it was super cute. You end up meeting a little bird man who sells maps, and he's like, oh, this is my map, I hope you enjoy it. Like, all the characters are incredible. Yeah, the trailer they showed, some of those enemies and some of the characters, just like, holy shit, this looks great. And so the stuff that we played was awesome. It looked fantastic.
Great. I'm just still blown away by how pretty it is. I really
right?
Am.
It looks
it's
gorgeous.
I actually managed to find the buttons, and I showed people in the stream what the trailer bit looked like that we kind of saw, and
nice.
It was very pretty. So, yeah. Hope y'all enjoyed that. Buttons, that's why I seem so scatterbrained. After Ori, what did we see? Let's see here. Some Activision stuff. What was this? What is this that we saw?
We talk about Xbox.
Yeah.
Managed to play some indie games they had.
Yeah.
Wargroove is very, very cool. It's by the guys who made Starbound. It's a Chucklefish game.
Oh, okay.
And the premise is I'm trying to think of what the type of game it is. It's a tactical game where you are it's Advance Wars. Yes, that's exactly what it is. Where you pick an army, and you can either be like a cool warrior class, or you can be a plant person that looks very much like the plant people in Starbound. You can be sort of like a demon. Like, there's a bunch of different, I think there were 10 or so different races you could be. Okay. And you can either do co-op, or you can play against someone, or there's the main story mode. And it was like, 1, looked great. 2, one of the units you can summon for every race is a dog unit, but they all look different. And when you play as one race, they're called doggos. And when you play as another race, they're like little tiny yippy plant people. Oh my God, it's so cute. There's it was a game that was like pretty awesome strategy and had a very cute sort of pixely Starbound vibe to it, which I liked. And that was very fun. We played Children of Morta. Okay. Children of Morta is somewhere between. That sound
familiar?
We might have talked about it in the past. I've definitely played it at previous conventions. Okay. It is a game that you play as, the basic conceit is it's kind of like Diablo, where you're dungeon crawling, but you play as a family, and it's a family of adventurers going through and exploring this dungeon, unlocking this mystery, and each family member has a different ability. So the little girl's like a magic user, and the sister shoots arrows, and one of the brothers is like a rogue, and then there's like the badass with a shield and sword, and then there's like the old man who's like, I can look at the relics and stuff. Everyone has a role, and they all have stamina too. So you can't keep using the same family member over and over and over again. Even if you're in co-op with a friend, you have to keep switching eventually because your people will just slowly lose stamina or whatever they called it, but they need to sleep. And so the gameplay is really solid. Everything feels great. The world and the monsters you fight are really cool. It's very pixelated, but it's a very cool game. And the story is one of those Dark Souls vibe stories where as you discover things, you unlock what's happening and you come across rituals and ceremonies that are going on. And I like that idea. I like the way they're telling the story is it's something that you stumble upon and it leads you down another path, which leads you down another path. And it's also one of those things where the maps are very, very big. So you don't necessarily have to go everywhere, but if you do, you'll be rewarded for it, that kind of thing.
Right.
And so I thought that was very cool. So that was Wargroove and Children of Morta for those two games.
Nice.
Cool.
So where I was trying to go chronologically,
Sure.
we saw From Software's new game.
Yeah.
Sekio, Shadows Die Twice. That looked really interesting as far as game set in feudal Japan. I mean, I feel like we've already got one of those on the way.
Which one was this? Was this? I feel so dumb. Like, was this the one where at the end they were being raided by the Mongols, or was this the one where? No, that was Sony, right?
No,
yeah,
that is not
yeah,
this one.
and that's the whole thing. When in feudal Japan, and you have the game.
What was this one? What was this one?
This is the one that's being published by
It's the
Activision.
Samurai with a robot arm.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yes. All right.
Which,
all right.
You know, because we can't possibly have enough robot arm ever. That's the thing. I don't know when that trend's going to die, but
The thing that was interesting for me about that is that Neo came out and everyone was like, oh, this is like Dark Souls, except it's set in Japan and it's based off of like an actual guy that like existed, right? And it makes me go, when did they start working on this game? Because
how far behind the curve are we?
Well, this looks like they saw Neo and were like, well, we could do that. But I'm sure that's not what happened, but that's how it feels because people have enjoyed Neo so much, you know?
Yeah.
Right.
No, I totally feel you on that. After that, let's see. We went
Was Metro next?
Yeah, I believe it was.
Yo.
The Metro Exodus trailer, Vicious Wasteland.
Played it.
Yeah.
I will simply say that when I left, the dev said I got the furthest of anyone who's played the game so far at the conference.
My.
That's some
I know. I
commitment.
felt really good. So basically, first off, one of my favorite parts about the demo that I played is the fact that it starts with you on a train, and the whole point is like you're leaving Russia. You're finally RDM or whatever his name is. Like you're finally leaving Russia. You're getting out of there. The first two games are sort of set in the underground of Russia and dealing with this weird alien menace, that kind of thing. This one, you are getting out of Russia and you're going off into the countryside. So right away, you start on this train and your train slams into a blockade and you run into the main engine room and all the characters meet. They're like, what are we going to do? How are we going to get out of here? Right off the bat, my favorite part of this was that every character had either a semi-good or terrible Russian accent, except for one who was Steve Bloom. It was literally just Steve Bloom. And he's like, with his Steve Bloom voice, totally out of nowhere. And he's like, I'll be down in the engine room. I'm Steve Bloom. And you're just like, all right, sure. So
Love it.
Yeah. So you jump off the train. You have your gas mask as usual. There are, at least when I was playing with the controller, which I was shocked that I was doing.
Is
but
that
there
just
are
what they had, and you're just like,
yeah, they just had a controller, and I was like, all right. Buttons 1 through 0 were all bound to things, so you had to like right trigger and left trigger gain access to A, B, X, Y. Each of those had maybe like 1,000 things on them. So I was like, oh boy, here we go.
No.
But with that said, once I got into it, all seemed pretty like, all right, I know what I'm doing. This is the gas mask. This one does this. The weapons that they allowed you to use is you had your pistol and you could modify it and you could do things to it. A AK-47 ? And then a pump action gun that used air to like shoot bullets, which was pretty neat. The biggest thing that they added was now you don't have to find workshops. You can literally just use a backpack to do the majority of things. So you can pull it off your back and then like make health things or make certain like upgrades on the fly. It only at big workshop things can you make bullets. Yeah, it was a pneumatic rifle. Thank you, chat. Only at big workshops can you make bullets and like change certain things. But the basic premise was you wander around this wasteland. It seemed very open world. It wasn't huge, but it seemed very, very big. And there's like crashed planes you can go into, and there are monsters walking around trying to mess with you. But because it's a story game, I ended up going to this church that was in the trailer. And it's these crazy religious zealots. And a woman there's like, I can tell you how to get through the blockade, but you have to help me and my daughter escape. And from that point on, you have many options. It seemed very like Deus Ex-y, where it was like, okay, you can either escape without being detected. You can shoot your way out. You can try to clear a path for these people and like get them out of there. Me, I was like, I'm ninjaing this thing. So I literally, because Metro lets you collect everything, I went around and all the traps they had and they had a bunch of string that had cans on them. So if you touch them, it would like start making noise. All I did was take all the cans and like put them in my back. I was like, all these cans are mine. I'm going to use them. So I took all the cans, snuck out, wasn't detected, made it to a boat. Giant fish attacked me. Screamed louder than I've ever screamed before. Yeah, it's definitely an interesting demo. I didn't get to play all of it. I had to meet a guy on a crane and I almost made it there, but they were like, sorry, we're out of time. But it was like really fun. It's one of those things where ammo is something you need to conserve. I learned that because I tried to fight giant rat monsters and they straight up just like took 100 shots apiece. And I was like, okay, I shouldn't be fighting these guys. And I had to run away because I was out of ammo. And I got to a point where I had nothing. I had nothing to fight with. So I just had to hit guys with the butt of my gun and hope it killed them. So yeah, I learned a lot of valuable lessons, but it looks great. It plays better than the first two, and I'm really curious what the actual final game will be like. But it was great.
I'm really looking forward to that one coming out. I've played the previous two, but I feel like I need to actually go back and replay some of them in order to, give an accurate comparison when the next one comes out. But they're so long, so that's gonna take a long time.
But you can go back to the underground and get an awesome lap dance from like a mutant, which is pretty awesome.
Bonus.
Yeah, go to the mutant bathhouses. Those are great.
The next game that I actually kind of skipped one, The Awesome Adventures of Captain Spirit, is it?
Oh, yes.
When did that too? Oh my god.
Did you play that one as well?
Wait, you said it's only like 2 hours long, but you've played part of it at the convention?
We didn't play any of it. We sat in the room and then the devs asked us what we want to do and the room made choices. So the way the game,
I was about to be like, I don't want to play this with you anymore.
No, I don't know. I
literally
don't know anything except for the fact that the story takes place in the world of Life is Strange. It's the prequel to Life is Strange 2, which to me means at the end of this,
all of it then.
It's I believe it's
no, like the next, not Before the Storm, like Life is Strange 2. And so to me that means that there's probably going to be a sci-fi paranormal element at the end of this. I hope, fingers crossed, because it's why say it's in the Life is Strange world if nothing weird happens. But the premise is you are a young boy and your dad is kind of a drunk and he only really cares about watching basketball and stuff, but he also is like not a shitty father. He's just not a good one.
You mean
he
like
definitely
Chloe's stepfather?
Well, he doesn't beat the shit out of this kid, but he does he doesn't pay attention to him.
He has an addiction problem. Yeah.
Right.
He does. But what he does is he sort of placates the son, because the son truly believes that he's Captain Spirit and he can do magic things. So the dad will be like, "Oh, you got me." Oh, and he'll play along. It's very, very cute. But what it is it's all in his head kind of thing. So the thing we did, there are many different adventures you can go on. But the one that they showed us is we went into the boiler room and he fought his enemy Water Eater. And of course, spoiler, it's the water heater at the end. But it's all in his mind and like a whole scenario happens. But one of the things that was great is at the very, very beginning, they let you design what Captain Spirit looks like. So he's like, I need to make a costume.
Cool.
And our stupid room. I was so I literally shouted it out after we were done. So it was like, what should my mask be? And everyone in the room's like, a helmet, an awesome helmet. And they're like, okay, helmet. It's like, what should my clothing be? And they're like, armor, awesome armor. And like, okay. And like, what should my colors be? And everyone's like, dark. We literally just created Batman. I was like, you guys are so boring. We just made Batman. We just made Batman.
I thought maybe it was because like his little drawn on mask is all sketchy. I thought maybe it gives you the option to like draw whatever you want on his face, and somebody was going to be like, put a dick on it. I'm glad that that's not what happened.
We didn't know. But there's like, you can make colorful versions, and you can make like thin armor. You can change him however you want. And I was very excited about that. I thought that was very, very cute. But yeah, I don't know what the actual story of the game is. I just know it's one of those things where he goes on adventures in his mind and he makes stuff up about those adventures to cover up for his mom, who I think is left them, question mark? I don't know. Okay. I don't know what happened with the mom, but they live in what appears to be the middle of effing nowhere.
Yeah, it's like in a trailer, and he has a tree house that...
Yeah, it's like a very small house out in the middle of the woods, and it's a lot of snow. I have no idea what's going on, but I'm ready to learn more. It seemed very, very cute. All the acting was as, great as the previous Life is Strange. So I'm ready to see what this is. Yeah.
Same. Don't Nod did really well with the last two, so I'm just like, I'll give it a shot. After that, I believe we had... What did we have after that? Trying to think. We saw some Nier. There was like an update, I think. For it,
yeah. Coming to Xbox, right?
Yeah. So it was just like a kind of a blip announcement. The thing that I saw, I think 3 times in the E3 conferences was the new Kingdom Hearts.
Yo, can we talk about Japanese trailers do not translate well to a Western audience. Those trailers are unbearable in just every aspect. From the fact that it's like all the dialogue is clips that for some reason they thought made sense when put together. They do not. Then cut into the music, and the music is over the top. The dialogue becomes more over the top, and then you get ridiculous moments where it's just like Mickey and oh god, I can't. I'm gonna play it. I'm probably gonna love it.
Kingdom Hearts is already like a ridiculous concept.
Yes, but so the trailers are bad.
Here's the thing: is that I can't even tell if that trailer made sense or not because I haven't played the side games, and that trailer was made expecting you to know who all of these other characters are. Like when everybody was at the end when chat was exploding into people going, oh, it's Aqua. I was like, I don't I don't know who that is.
No.
The fact that there are characters who died in Kingdom Hearts 2 who are back in this one, I'm just like, I just don't know. I don't know what's going on anymore. I just don't know.
Not like anyone would ever bring out a game and give you like all the old characters or anything like that.
Also,
oh my god.
Also, for the record, the entire, I think it was during the Xbox one where they did Frozen.
Yeah.
The fact that they literally they had to show you in the trailer like, oh yes, hello, we are Frozen. And do you know who these people are? Like, no, I've never seen them before. And Sora's just like, you can freeze people? And she literally just recites lines from the movie. And you're just like, no, we're all aware of what this is. We don't need to know this. None of us needed to know this. The entire world is aware of what Frozen is. You do not need to tell us over and over again. Oh, God.
What freaked me out was it seemed like what we were shown in the Microsoft conference was kind of like shorter. It was almost a condensed version, but it was pretty lengthy. The trailer and small gameplay, whatever they wanted to show us. And then when we saw it again in the
Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah, the Pirates of the Caribbean part. That was what blew my mind because I was like, what? The beginning
that was in the second one. Yeah,
that was
you got to do that in the second one.
Yeah, in the second one, it was different, and because I was just like, well, is this Kingdom Hearts? But it's like, but I've already seen Kingdom Hearts. But is this Kingdom Hearts? Because the trailer music's the same, and all of a sudden Johnny Depp is in my ear, and then they have the big song again, blah, 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 and I'm just like, oh no, make it stop. I know I'm like in the
most out of place song in the history of songs.
It was horrible. I feel
Kingdom
like
Hearts always has like a song that they will play to death, you know.
Yeah.
Right, but that's like the intro song, and usually have like a cool like graphic thing over it, and you're like, oh, well, that was a fun intro to this game. I can't wait to see what it's about. The fact that they keep using it over and over and over again with scenes that do not match what is happening. The song does not match scenes of like Sora battling Jack Skellington or whatever the fuck's going. You're like, what is happening right now?
The thing that was killing me in that trailer, not to just harp on the trailer constantly, but the thing that was killing me about that trailer is the point where they really wanted to highlight the music. They just took all of the sound effects out, but they
kept the dialogue.
Yeah.
Yes.
Weird. Fucking weird. I was like, did they forget to put the sound effects in? No,
but that's what I'm saying about the Japanese trailers. Like, I see that if you go watch Japanese trailers, that's sort of like the thing. And I never understood why. It drives me crazy because it's like, just edit it better. Just like make it. You could have made this better. The quality is awful. But I'm still gonna buy it, and the rest of the world's still gonna buy it. So what the hell am I complaining about?
Also, the Kingdom Hearts. I don't think we saw this in the first conference, but I mention it anyway because I don't want to have to mention Kingdom Hearts again. Because I feel like we're starting
Let's
a drinking game.
The
The Kingdom Hearts edition PlayStation. Whoa, like the big pop that came out.
Hold on.
Yeah. Oh no.
I gotta look this up. I don't remember looking at this.
It happened during the second conference, I believe, or maybe it was during the Sony conference. Yeah,
maybe I passed out after they announced that they were remaking 1.5, 2.5, and 2.8 into one game, and I was like, ugh, and I died.
I'm pretty sure. I want to say it was during the Sony conference. Right after the end of the trailer and presentation that they did this big like room, and then it's like you can pre-order or coming soon the Kingdom Hearts Special Edition console, and I'm just like, okay, this year we weren't going to talk about hardware, and then you went and talked about hardware.
Yo, the Kingdom Hearts PlayStation Pro looks beautiful though.
It does look pretty,
gorgeous.
But how much do they want for it?
I'm gonna say $500.
I have no idea. I don't know.
Neither do I.
It out there.
$1 million.
$1 million. It's
at
like
least
the Final Fantasy 15 car.
Oh God.
People who don't remember, they sold the car from the game.
I do remember that, yeah.
No. After that was Forza. Either of you
I'm so glad I predicted that once again a man would fuck a car on stage. It's my favorite part of the Xbox conference. Every year, a man comes out and he's like, "Have you ever looked at cars and want to stick your dick in one?" You're like, "No, but okay."
I haven't.
I think that's what he talked about. I feel like that's this beautiful track. It gets wet when it rains. You're just like, okay. Every year.
I am more looking forward to the game that Ubisoft are bringing out, where you can drive a car and you can also fly a plane and you can do other things. I'm actually looking more forward towards that than Forza. I feel like we've done enough Forza games.
Yeah.
But for people who enjoy a beautiful car and doing things, yeah, great, awesome for you. So that's what happened there. We're super
truly
informative.
Feel like I don't understand who the car buying people are, like the car game buying people, but they must exist because those things sell like crazy. It's the same thing with Farm Simulator. Like, who the fuck's buying Farm Simulator? Shit sells out every time. People go crazy over that game. Who knew?
Okay. The part that happened after that was kind of a bit heartbreaking for me in a way. It was basically Microsoft saying, guess what? All your favorite studios that made all those great games last year, we bought them.
Yeah.
That's right. Where they were like 5 game teams. We bought them. You're like, oh.
I've been such a huge fan of Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice, and they just went up and bought them. I was like, they won a BAFTA, they won a video game award, and I get it. Getting the buy from Microsoft, sure, that'll give you the funding to make other games, but are they actually going to keep you intact? Are they going to break you up? Are they going to force you to work with other people?
Microsoft has been pretty good compared to EA about that. I don't know that we have any horror stories of Microsoft destroying studios for failing, but I don't know. Maybe. I just can't seem to recall any at the moment.
I just worry. Anytime that there's a game that I really enjoy, I'm always looking forward to what they're releasing next. And it's like, oh, we're not releasing anything next because now we're part of the Microsoft team. And the thing I don't like the most is I have a tendency to believe that they're going to make a lot of those things Xbox exclusive and not release stuff on PC. I mean, fingers crossed, because, they want to ship that whole Windows game store.
Everyone in chat is saying that they destroyed Rare, but
that is a good case study there, actually.
It is
it's
an old case study, but
it's an old case study, though.
Yeah, as far as I know, Rare was in pretty bad shape to begin with when
Rare
Microsoft got them.
Doing well.
Yeah, Microsoft bought them for the library, I believe was the case. They didn't buy them because they were expecting them to make new games that sold. But I don't know. I don't know the ins and outs of that.
Same.
Yeah, Rare was in a bad place to begin with.
I don't know. In my mind, if it means that they're able to make whatever game they wanted to make next, then I'm cool with it.
Yeah.
As long as they just kind of...
I want the dirty clutches out of the game. And I just want to let them do what they...
It's always hard to know whether or not they're going to let them do their thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, fingers crossed, I hope, because some of the indie stuff that they have done has turned out really, really well. So, I mean, they let the Cuphead guys do their thing, and Cuphead kicked ass. So, we'll see.
The next thing was some Tales of Vesperia. I believe it's like getting a remaster.
Yes, I feel so like the Tales games are awesome. I feel terrible for the chat that was watching it because they were just like, anime sucks, and I was like, guys,
they're like, weeb game, what?
Yeah, it's like, get over it. Oh my god, everyone was losing their mind, like, all these anime games. Literally at the beginning of the conference, they were like, we have a lot of titles from Japan this year coming to Xbox.
Yeah,
they told you what was going to happen. People were like, cartoons with boobs, I don't know how to feel. It was like, calm down, fuck.
Damn.
It was pretty bad.
There's a lot that just happened.
Someone just gift that. Cartoons with boobs. I don't know how to feel.
I have a feeling that's going to be like the highlight, the top highlight of the stream right here. That's going to be what
I felt that way before. I don't know how to feel. Yeah.
Yes. After that, I believe we got into... It's difficult for me to remember. The Division 2, which is, not really like new
Is the
news.
Division.
Yeah, it's the Division, but again, in a different place. That's
the game with no political agenda. The Division.
Right. I mean,
every year they're like, America
DC,
has gone to shit. Every year they start the conference the exact same way, like, America, it's fucked up and only you can save it. And you're like, are you trying to tell me something right now?
It's like you think it's the Purge. That's the vibe I get. Is every time it's like, oh, clearly something needs to happen, but it seems like it's set in like a Purge world. It's strange. Okay, Microsoft did a lot of games, so I know it probably feels like we're spending a lot of time. Wasn't it something like 52 games or something? They said that they
blew through a bunch of indies, like I said, with Wargroove and Children of Morta. Like those were two that I managed to get to play. But at their event, they had tons of stuff. Most of them are games that already exist. So they were really hyping up Warhammer, Vermintide. That was big. They were showing off man, God, I can't remember half of them. They had a bunch that were just like all over the place.
Yeah.
A lot of indies this year.
I'm going to run through the big list of what was shown at the Microsoft conference, and you guys just stop me if you feel like talking about something, because I know we're spending forever on this one. So we talked about the Awesome Adventures of Captain Spirit. Battletoads.
Oh, that's right. Hell yeah, Battletoads.
That's
I
happening.
met some guy in a Battletoads shirt who was so excited, and I literally was just like, I'm glad you're happy, dude.
I'm happy for you.
But that showed us nothing, and I hope it's as good as in your mind it is.
It's gonna be amazing.
It better be amazing, otherwise we will riot.
You know what they should do? I'm just putting this out there.
Yes.
Contact the the Double Dragon Neon team. If they can make if they can make a Battletoads that was as much fun and like utterly silly as Double Dragon Neon, where the game, guys, Double Dragon Neon ends with one of the greatest songs in the history of video games. I'm just saying, go Google the last level, watch it yourself. Truly one of the most phenomenal things I've ever seen in a video game. Jake Kaufman killing it. The music in that game is great. But yeah, if they could do that and make it just fun.
Games that could be fun? What? No, that's not what gaming's about. After that, Cuphead got the new playable character and bosses.
Yes. Exciting.
That looks awesome. There's new content.
Yeah. New content for Cuphead is always a good time. I'm not the biggest, I guess, platform player. I couldn't tell you why. I mean, it's not like I ever had some sort of ever-present influence over the past 12 years that possibly got me away from playing platformers, but
I don't. Who knows?
Who knew who that guy was? But I love the art style. The art style gets me every time. I'm such a sucker for it, and so I'll load it up every once in a while, and I'm like, man, this is hard, and I'll complain.
It is hard, but it's one of those things where I want to say it's one of those things where once you learn it, you can go back and beat it. But when Kreno and I played, we ended up playing through it on the day it launched, and I guess there was a bug that reset us back like 4 or 5 stages. So the next day we went back to go beat the game, and as Dodger's aware, we definitely didn't do it because those 3 or 4 stages that we had to beat still were tough. Like, we knew what we had to do, and we still had a hard time doing it. And even Dodger, who like destroyed it on her own, when she came to play with me, 2-player is much different and much more difficult than single player.
Aww.
Like, it is a pain in the ass, that game.
That game is so fun, though.
Right?
Well,
so fun. I'm
content
excited.
for a fun game is
I know.
always a good thing.
Yeah.
Crackdown 3, a lot of Terry Crews yelling.
You know what? I love Terry Crews. That
Me
game
too.
looks stupid as hell, but Terry's great. So
I'm looking forward to Crackdown 3. I really want to play it, but again, it's the same situation that we had with a couple other games. I don't feel like we saw much that was new.
Right.
Same kind of stuff that we saw the previous year, really. And probably the biggest thing that people talked about after the Microsoft conference was Cyberpunk 2077.
Oh. Yeah, you just let me know when you want me to talk. I went to a 50-minute demo. I know everything.
So we're going to circle right back to that. I'm just going to finish reading through this list, and then we're going to get into that one a bit deeper. Devil May Cry 5. So I was getting really upset initially because I was just like, we don't want him. We want Dante. And then finally at the end, it's like, Dante.
Yeah.
So happy. Division 2, we've already kind of talked about a little bit. Dying Light 2, because at this point, all these it's like take a word and put 2 after it, and that is most of the games that happened at these conferences. I'm gonna get so confused calling this game that game and this game. Yeah,
like,
Dying Light 2.
Real talk, look kind of awesome. Like, it looks kind of cool.
No, I'm happy that it does. I want to say, if I can find it. Yeah, so that's Techland. I want to say that Chris Avalon might have something to do with that one this time around.
Yeah, written by.
Yes,
is what
and
chat
that
says.
is why I'm looking forward to it the most. I remember when I saw the trailers and stuff for it during the Snarkathon. I believe Chris came out during one of the conferences. I want to say it was actually the Bethesda conference that Chris came out and talked, and it made me weep so badly after the fact, because I had to hold it together because I'm like snarking and hating on people. But it made me so sad that so many people didn't know who Chris Avalon was. And I'm just like, do you not play video games? Like Icewind Dale, Fallout? Did you not play Baldur's Gate? Torment? Any games set in the sort of Dungeons and Dragons universe? So yeah, because Chris is involved for the story, I have a feeling that I will enjoy it.
Yeah, it looks really, really cool.
Let's see. Let me get back to my list. Fallout 76, I think we'll probably have more to talk about on that later. Forza Horizon 4, Gears of War, with the first gameplay trailer. So Kate is getting her journey, and a lot of people raged about it because I guess female-centric games.
I was watching on Mixer at the time, which it was a new experience.
That's a thing? I keep on hearing
it was a new experience for me, yeah. But I will say, for some reason, the Xbox conference on Mixer, really high quality. Who knew?
I don't know why.
Weird.
But,
but the chat on Mixer was like losing they were not okay. They were not okay.
Chat. Is it just because of the story?
Literally, it was like, no, a guy literally said, no one wants to be a girl. That's what a man just said that. No one wants to be a girl was what he shouted. And I was like, all right.
Haven't the Gears games had like a primary female driven story?
Well, the last one, she was a main character, but I don't think there has been any like you play as the girl.
I am the protagonist. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I saw the same thing in Twitch chat, just people being like, ugh, strong female protagonist. I was like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I had no idea why people were like being so upset about it. And I just kind of went ahead and snarked on it for the fact of, how people were spelling Kate's name. And I thought that was funny because they didn't even care enough about her to know that her name is spelled like Kait. But whatever. It's
people. Yeah, I don't. Look,
people.
Look,
I don't know.
People be crazy.
They do. So how we were talking about mobile gaming, the Gears of War mobile game announced with the Funko Pop twist, because let's also bury that franchise as well, shall we? It's like CNC Gears of War. It's like you're taking some of the big hitters there and funneling them down into a mobile experience. I know they got to compete, but with Funko Pop things,
I truly hate Funko Pop.
Do you?
Like the way they all look, I just don't. I'm like, it is Beanie Babies. It's just Beanie Babies, and I don't like them.
I'm not surprised that they're doing it because Lego. Sorry,
that's not Funko Pop. That is.
I know. It's toys.
That is one of a kind awesomeness.
I know.
That. Look.
Together forever.
They're wonderful.
They are wonderful.
But those aren't like Funko Pop.
Oh,
those are.
I just wanted to show how the head was like.
Those are Julian Co-Pop
to the body.
And yeah, I just don't like them. I don't. They're everywhere.
Yeah.
I'm just like.
So that game's
they're all numbered because you have to collect them all. I'm like, I hate you, Funko Pop. I hate you.
Things that require you or want you to buy other things. I don't know. Tie-ins, corporate tie-ins. No. But yeah, that game is coming to iOS and Android in 2019. We saw Gears Tactics.
There's so many games at Xbox. Just
the Coalition. Yeah. Halo Infinite, Jump Force, because you want Naruto, Dragon Ball, One Piece, and Death Note.
Yo,
all to
that had some of the craziest lines at E3.
I bet.
For the record, by the way, I don't know if anyone else knows this. It was my one joy the entire conference. Every time an anime game showed up, people were like, "Boo!
Oh,
Get
no.
this
the
off the
lines were
screen!"
insane.
They all wanted to play it.
Jump
They just
Force,
didn't
people
want to
were
own
like,
it.
"Oh my god, it's everything I ever wanted." It's like, you fake bastards, get out of here! I hate anime cartoons. Oh my god, it's One Piece. And you're like, you're gross. Get out. I hate you, internet.
Yeah, I was a little confused by this game because they made J-Stars like a couple of years ago and it was terrible. And now they're basically doing the exact same thing but giving it a different name. So I'm like,
pretty much. The lines are crazy. People were so hyped for this game. it didn't even look all that good. I was like, all right, sure.
You don't know, Jesse. It might be amazing.
Yeah. You know what? It might be. Who am I to judge?
After that was Just Cause 4. Rico is back, and he's still crazy. Yeah.
Just Cause,
great.
like, we went to the Just Cause demo. We didn't get to play it, but they like played it for you. I'm not sure.
For you? Oh man.
Well, it was one of those things where like you go in and they show you but it was 2 devs, and 90% of the demo was them fooling around in the world. Like, all right, so we're gonna use this rocket booster thing, and we're gonna take this, and they were just like causing chaos in the world, and it was very entertaining. But I learned very little about the game. I couldn't tell you a day. I was like, oh yeah, they made that one crane into like a wrecking ball and spun it around the map, and it like took down planes and shit. And that was cool. And it was like, okay, so what's the story?
Every time they show a Just Cause game, I'm like, it's okay, it's the same. And then I tune out.
Yep.
So that was me during Just Cause 4.
But parachutes and wingsuits and tornadoes. Oh my.
That's literally what it is. Yeah. So the basic gist of what I got is there's a level with a tornado that is really cool looking. And then over the course of the entire map is a battlefront that moves back and forth depending on what you do between 2 factions. And so there's like a war going on. You can just like F with them the entire time if you want to. That's pretty much all I learned. Other than that, it's like, Rico's back and you're gonna blow shit up. I'm like, okay, cool.
Kingdom Hearts 3 we've already kind of talked about.
Right.
Metro Exodus we've already talked about. Ori and the Will of the Wisps we've already talked about. And then we had some PUBG on Xbox One, the new Sandhawk map this summer. And let's see, Sea of Thieves update. Ancient
2
People.
DLCs, but they didn't tell us what they are.
Anything about them. Yeah, they just showed more skeletons. I was like, nobody wants more skeletons.
Yeah, that's a thing. And let's see, Sekiro Shadows Die Twice, which we've talked about, and then they went hard on the whole Xbox One Game Pass, blah 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 blah. And their fast start feature, making your Game Pass titles load faster. So yeah, we are just really trying to deal with PlayStation at the moment. So yeah, let's come back up, and Jesse, you can give us a little bit on what you saw for Cyberpunk 2077.
I see Dukes has a Cyberpunk statue behind her right now.
Sam got to do the thing. I didn't get to do the thing, but Sam.
You mean this Cyberpunk statue?
Yeah.
So let's see. The way the demo they showed basically started with the fact that at the very, very beginning, they created a character, and it was one of those things where they immediately were like, you can make the character you want to make. You're not going to play Geralt this time. You're literally V is a character that can be either male or female. And you can change the way they look. You can give them different hair. You can give them different like body parts and things like that. I'm not sure if you can give them different modifications at the beginning.
I was going to ask that.
But what you can do is the setup, at least from what they showed, is literally like you're playing an RPG. There's a screen that has stamina, constitution, intelligence, all the stats, and then street cred, which is a core mechanic of Cyberpunk, which is basically like how cool everyone in the world thinks you are.
Amazing.
Or how badass. And street cred is not only raised through doing missions, but it's also raised by the clothes you wear. So, for example, when you go over like a jacket, it has the list of the stats, but it also has the street cred number. So when you put it on, everyone's like, "Oh shit, that guy's a badass." So,
I love it.
Yeah, already I was like, I'm totally in. This is great. So then, it isn't just rep, even though it has the vibe of like when you complete quests, it bumps it up, and you get like street cred +1. There's more to it than that, but at its base level, it's kind of like the more street credit you have, the more access to quests you get, the more people will want to talk to you, the more things you can buy. So the way the demo worked is you were playing as, we played as female V, and the guy who's with you, I don't remember his name, but he was basically like stereotypical Mexican like gangsta dude who's with you. And so like every third word he says is like cholo or something, like whatever. But whatever. So the two of you go on a mission where you're trying to recover I want to say just rich person. I don't know if they have a social status, but it's just a rich person who's been kidnapped by this gang who's going to sell her body parts for money. And so you break in, you start gunning down this place, and they showed you the fight mechanics, and it's very first person like shooter, but it sort of has the same vibe as Deus Ex, except the cover option doesn't put you in third person. So and at this point in time, all we had was just the gun and the like looking down sight, but we didn't have any like zooms or any scans or anything at this point in time. So you're going around, you're shooting up this place, and at one point in time, a guy hides behind a wall, and it's the mechanic from Siege, where he's shooting through the wall, and you can shoot back through the wall if you want. But the scenario is like we went outside and around the window, and we threw a grenade and like blew this dude up. Then you go in and you find this girl who's in a bathtub, and everyone in this room is just naked and possibly dead. So already you're like, okay, this is a mature game. There's just nips everywhere. And so you pick this girl up to carry her outside, and you make the call to the ambulance. Like, hey, we need the paramedics here. You pick this girl up. For the first time in any video game ever, there was a nipple in the lower third of the screen for maybe a good minute and a half. There was nothing sexual about it because you're just carrying her out of this building, but like there's just a nip just right there, and you're like, all right. So you take her outside, and you lay her down, and the paramedics show up, and they show up in an armored car with guns, and they're like, get away. So apparently in the future, the only people who can afford paramedics are super rich, and they're paid to like make sure no one touches the body, and like they give you, it was pretty cool.
Interesting.
Then there was a cutscene that's all in third person, where it's sort of you dealing with the aftermath and how, because you pulled off this mission, this guy who's sort of like a gangster, like big shot, recognizes you and wants to have a meeting. So he sends you on this meeting, and right away you have that very Witcher vibe where it's like, okay, sure, you can go to the meeting, but you also have to go over here and do this thing. And there's also this thing. And if you want to go upgrade your parts, you can go do that too. So we went to upgrade our parts, and the minute you sit down and talk to this doctor who's also an engineer, and the doctor's like, okay, I'm going to give you like a cool eye implant thing, and then we're going to give you something cool on your hand. So he gives you an injection on your arm, and then this little robot thing starts working on your arm while you're having this conversation with this guy. You can barely make out what's going on in your arm, but it clearly doesn't hurt because you're just talking to him. And then he pulls out your eyeball, and then you see the vision of your eye as it moves away from you, and he puts it in a machine.
Creepy.
And the thing like starts messing with the eyeball, and he gives you a scan and a zoom. So now you have that. And there was a big menu of options you could buy. So you basically can mod out your body. And I'm very curious what the long-term aspect of that is, because I believe the whole thing is Cyberpunk is like, the more robot you become, the less human you are kind of deal.
Right.
Totally.
And so I want to know what that, like what happens there. So we had a zoom, and we had a scanner. And then when you look down your hand again, your palm now is all like roboted out, and it gives you faster reflexes, and you can hold your weapon differently, and so you can do better things with your gun. So then you got up, we went on this mission where basically we were working for this mega corporation that wanted us to buy back some stolen merchandise, and the whole point was we just wanted to get this little like robot dog thing, like the you see them being tested right now, except this one it could hang off walls and has a big gun on its back. And what happens is a bunch of shit goes down. It's unimportant. The guys you fight literally have removed all of their like half their face and now have like spider eyes, which was really cool. But the basic point is that what we discovered is that the little robot dog, you can link that to yourself. So now you not only control yourself, but you control the robot dog as well. And that is a permanent ally that will follow you and hang out with you. And when you leave the area, will straight up like boop, 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 and form into a box and get into your car. There are drones that will fly above cars. The open world is gorgeous and beautiful. We only saw it during the day, so I don't know what it looks like at night, but it looks very neon and awesome, but everything inside is all wires and trash and gross because it's like all the facade to keep the outside looking nice, which I was like, okay, this is cool.
That's very cyber and very punk.
Yeah. It's everything about it seemed like the basic the trajectory of the story is you start very small and you're trying to work your way up to become a big shot in Night City, which takes place in Northern California. Those of you who are wondering.
There you go.
Yeah, it's very, very cool. Everyone who walked out of there was like, holy shit. It looks amazing. The graphics are beautiful. The gunplay was really, really cool. And everything you could do was, again, very Deus Ex-y, where the main mission we went on, they were telling us the entire time, like, look, you can shoot your way out, or you can. And eventually they released the arm implants, just like the little figure we have, where you have 2 giant claws that come out of your arm, where you can hang off walls, you can like jump across shit, you can stab guys with them. But they were like, also you can just hack your way out. Like you can, because everyone's connected to networks and shit, you can just like hack through guys. You can find out information by hacking into their brain. You can hack into doors. You don't have to fight people. You can be like a ninja and sneak your way out. And I was like, cool, great. And none of that has any effect on, like, if you're a ninja versus you're shooting guys, none of that has any effect on your street cred. So like you don't need to worry, but it will have effect on certain story aspects and things, but it won't have an effect on like, oh well, no one saw you being awesome, so no one thinks you're awesome, like that kind of stuff. People just know that you're cool.
Gotcha.
So yeah, it's very, very exciting, and we'll probably see it in like 2 years. So cool.
I want to play it so bad.
But I can't even tell you how hype I was for the entire thing. It was incredible.
I think everyone was pretty hyped for it. If I'm honest, I like as soon as the logo came across the screen, everyone's just like losing it. And I don't know, like I heard it's kind of a bit like Saints Row-y, sort of, as far as like the street cred, sort of a little bit, and Deus Ex-y. And so it's like this plus this equals this, and I'm just like, well, yes, these are all things I would like, but I want to see more of it, and we didn't really get to see any of it during the conference. And
we didn't get to see any of it.
And so it's like I was as soon as I saw your assistant Kristen's Twitter photos from being there at the conference, I was like, oh great, I'm gonna have to sit down and hash out what exactly this game is going to be.
Literally saw it the very first appointment I had of E3 was this, and I was like, I'm gonna let you know all day. People were like, where'd you get those statues? Where's those statues from? We were like, oh, from Cyberpunk. Some guy offered us $500 for one. We were like,
I was streaming yesterday, and this was in the background, and literally every 5 minutes or so, somebody was like, wait, but has she said what that statue is? What is that? Why does it say Cyberpunk on it? Did she see Cyberpunk? What is that? I was like, Jesus Christ, people are obsessed.
Everyone it stole the show because it was by appointment only, and only if you had booked in advance could you get in. And only, I think the last day they reached out to a bunch of streamers and stuff and were like, come, look. But other than that, most people could not get in. And there was one point we went back because I'm like good friends with a lot of the guys at CDP. And so I went back to go hang out with them on Wednesday night, and literally there was a line, and some guy walked in and was like, I've been waiting here for 1 hour. And they're like, yeah, but that's the will call line, and we can get you in if people don't show up. But like, we can't promise. He's like, this is not how it works. I've been waiting 1 hour. And they're like, I'm so sorry. He's like, in Russia, it's not like this. And I was like, whoa. I was like, time to go.
Oh my God.
Yeah, people were freaking out.
Hey, you guys good? Bye.
It was crazy. Yeah, a lot. It was the game people want to see because people couldn't see it. Right. I think that's what really made it hype. Yeah, people were just like, I can't get in. I must know.
Yeah.
I agree. Aside from Fallout 76, which we're going to talk about a bit more in the Bethesda segment, that was basically it for Microsoft. Tons of games. I think it was something crazy like 52 games, including all the small things that they were showing that they didn't really give a lot of time to. But when you have that many games, how are you going to show them all? That's crazy. Yeah. So that is that segment. We're going to take a break, and we're going to give some time to our lovely, lovely sponsor, Squarespace, running an ad with a voice that you might know behind it. Stay tuned after the ad, though, because a brand new Co-optional Animated is coming right after that. Whoa. And we will be back to talk about Bethesda, Ubisoft, maybe give a slight mention to Devolver, roll the garbage. And so stick right here and we will be right back as soon as I figure out which button it is.
It's officially the year of the dog, which means that you should be celebrating all of the wonderful things that dogs do for us. For instance, letting us know with absolute urgency that the mail truck they see on a daily basis has arrived and may be planning an all-out attack on the house. So, we'd best bark at it. Or how about the presence of another dog on the street, minding its own business? This obviously constitutes the end of the world, the worst thing to ever happen, an apocalypse that you, the owner, are not paying anywhere near enough attention to, so we'd best bark at it. Or how about your website? That's clearly not up to scratch, fit for purpose or impressing anybody, so we'd best set you up with a brand new one from Squarespace. Then bark at it. Am I implying that Squarespace is so simple to use that even a dog could do it? Well, why don't you head over to squarespace.com/cooptional for 10% off your first order and a free trial. See for yourself how simple it is to implement one of hundreds of professionally designed templates. Marvel at the vast selection of domain choices with Squarespace domains, which feature quick and easy setup and no hidden fees. Recoil in surprise to discover that you can purchase .dog. Then bark at it. Squarespace lets you build a website for whatever you'd like. If you can dream it, you can make it. And Squarespace's award-winning 24/7 support is there to help you achieve your goals should you get stuck. All of this sounds too good to be true, so much so that it might give you pause. But there are plenty of reasons why so many people use Squarespace for their galleries, blogs, businesses, and storefronts. Squarespace powers millions of websites, and each of them has their own tale to tell. So sign up today at squarespace.com/cooptional for 10% off your first order and a free trial. Then bark at it, because after all on the internet, nobody knows that you were a dog the whole time. Squarespace. Choose your template, pick your domain, and then make it your own with no experience required. Then bark at it, because Squarespace is so simple you don't even need opposable thumbs to use it. Though we admit it would help. Squarespace. We can't stop the lawnmower or the mail truck, but we will help you make it with Squarespace. Then bark at it.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Co-Optional Podcast. Or should I say, the Bain Optional Podcast. Yes, merely adopted the podcast. I was born in it, molded by it.
Talk about the video games.
I played video games long before you, Dodger.
You see, that's not an impression. That's you just going R into a protein shaker. Stop it now.
I got a lot of practice doing that when the Grudge came out.
Oh,
Wait, whoa,
God.
What?
That's not quite the same. It's more like
I was the Grudge.
You were the Grudge?
I was the Grudge, and then I learned to love and became a real girl.
we
the
used
Grudge
to
that stole Christmas. I remember that.
Her heart grew 3 sizes that day.
While we were
hideous problems
at university living in a house together, there were 4 of us. We were all pretty chicken shit when it came to horror movies, but we'd occasionally, through the power of peer pressure, get each other to watch them to justify our masculinity. And we watched The Grudge at one point, and for the next 2 weeks, because we're all fucking shit scared by it, it was people around corners going, sort of, yeah, there you go. You can do it better than I can now, yeah. It was like, oh, fuck you.
That just sounds like working in an old folks home.
It's fairly similar, yeah. And with eventually...
That's our audience. Our audience is the elderly. They leave us on in nursing homes. That's how we get most of our views.
Now you warn me. Great.
I'm so sorry. Yeah.
Just terrifying.
I like Columbo. There we are. That'll sort me with them.
Oh my God, I also like Columbo. But one more thing though.
Yes.
Just
My wife's a big
one more
fan.
thing. My wife's a big fan. That was the other one.
Yeah.
God, I love him.
I just want to point out, as we joke about old people being our #1 audience, we all then proceed to just talk about Columbo. Columbo, a show that hasn't been on in maybe 20 years. Oh, Columbo.
Columbo, I miss you.
Rest in peace.
Yeah, but that Jessica Fletcher, she is a dame. Love her. Solving mysteries.
She needs to move though. Hot damn, there's a murder in that town like every couple of days.
They follow her where she goes. She is clearly the murderer. They never caught her.
She's just sharpening a knife like, it all went according to plan. And then she writes a new book.
And it turns out she was Mrs. Columbo all along.
Oh my God.
My wife's a big fan. It was her the whole time.
Of murder.
What a terrible way to start a podcast.
No.
I don't understand.
Welcome
Hello.
back to the Co-optional Podcast.
Well, speaking of welcome back, hey. Hi,
Welcome
dudes.
back.
Hello.
Hi, Mom.
Yeah, hi, Mom.
So, hopefully you guys enjoyed the Co-optional animated. I know I did.
I loved it. I thought it was very cute.
It was very cute.
We all got to do our main voice. Oh, hold on.
Where's the cup?
I had to drink the water.
Oh, we got to do our main voice.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Mm-hmm.
Special.
Yep.
Okay, so we're at Bethesda.
Oh, Bethesda.
Oh, Bethesda. During Bethesda's conference, we heard a lot about Fallout 76, if you want to dive in.
I mean, I didn't play any of it. I
Okay.
don't know anything other than, like, I didn't see any of it. The only thing Bethesda had in the, like, media section was Rage. I can talk to you about Rage all day,
Wow.
but I
I'm
know
actually
nothing
really
about
surprised.
76.
I mean, aside from the whole boasting, it's 4 times bigger than Fallout 4. It's like, oh, that's like saying that you maybe scored an extra couple points on an SAT. I just, if something's already crap, making something 4 times bigger than crap isn't really appealing. I know I have a lot of hate because of this, but I did not like Fallout 4. I like strong narrative and I like my options, but all of that went out with Obsidian, and I know it's not the Obsidian of days gone by and la la la, but yeah, hopefully 76 is going to fix some of my disappointment issues. Maybe
It won't. I'm positive it won't.
Probably not, but I still hold out hope. That is the trauma that is Fallout. I still have the hope that we're going to get the game that we waited, like, what, 7
I just think
years
it's Fallout
to
for a
have?
different group of
is.
people. Like, it's a different genre.
It is. It's not Fallout anymore. They might as well just call it something else. If the franchise wasn't so strong, if the IP wasn't so strong, they probably would. Yeah. So Fallout 76, it's going to be set in West Virginia, which is where I was born. That's not something that I readily admit, when just meeting people or anything, but that's a thing. And they made it out like, oh, it's so pretty, and I'm just like, I don't know what West Virginia you guys are. And Jesse, come on,
Look, I was
Kentucky.
born in Wheeling, West Virginia is where I was born. So
Okay, all right.
I get West Virginia.
I'm just saying, I've lived in Ohio, Kentucky, and West Virginia. We know the tri-state area doesn't look nothing like that. It's like, 1, where were the moonshine stills? Didn't see a 1.
Oh, they're there.
Where-
they're there. That's part of it.
They have
Also,
to
they
be.
probably evaporated in the apocalypse.
Maybe.
I do think, while I don't necessarily think it's going to be a good Fallout game, I still think it's going to be fun. In my mind, I still think it'll be a fun time. I like the idea of playing with a bunch of different people on a server and there being housing that you can build and world, like, adventures you can create. I think including the idea of West Virginia or Midwestern folklore as enemies. Like the fact that Mothman,
The Mothman,
is one of the enemies.
yes.
I was very happy about that.
I was born in Point Pleasant in West Virginia, and so when you go across the bridge, and they only put this in maybe 15 years ago, the statue of the Mothman that you can, like, take your photo with and everything, and it was so surreal to see that stuff come up in Point Pleasant, because that just never happened. It's like, it's not exactly a tourist destination, the Ohio River Valley. It's not a thing. I go back
if you
there
ever wanna
once in a
know-
while.
How ridiculous it is. Go watch the movie Mothman Prophecies.
Oh, yeah.
And just know there's a scene in that movie where the Mothman goes into the phone. The guy's like, "What's in my pocket?" The Mothman's like, "Chapstick." It is a scene that happens in this movie.
What the fuck?
Chapstick. It is ridiculous. That's the kind of, it's not even scary. It's like the least scary movie there ever was. But I was excited they had that, and they have, like, all the different crazy monsters that are in this thing. I think that's fun. I like the idea that you can literally just nuke the planet And I think that's really clever that then afterwards you can go in and collect the Fallout and use that for stuff. There's a lot of clever things, mechanics in this. I'm like, that's neat. You don't know that it's not going to be an RPG. It's just not. I think the disappointing thing is a lot of people were expecting another Fallout, but they just got a Fallout.
Yeah.
And knowing the life cycle of Bethesda, that seems crazy to me that people were expecting a new Fallout immediately. So I don't know. I'm not too fussed, but
it seemed, again, like you said, it was, so soon after Fallout 4. I mean, obviously trying to bank on the franchise, that's what you do. But the thing for me was, it's like, it's 4 times bigger, but you guys have only been in development, 18 months, if even? And so what? Are we just literally getting Fallout 4 times 4? To get that bigger size?
That's exactly what this is. This is Fallout 4.
But with
they
multiplayer.
Just put it in West Virginia, and they got it out in a year and a half or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And every human that you'll meet in this game is another player.
There's no NPCs.
Yeah.
I
the
think
only
there are
NPCs are robots?
I do like the fact that the things like the Mothman and the different monsters and stuff, those are supposed to all be players. And I think that that's a pretty interesting thing.
Are they?
That's what I heard. Cannot confirm, but that was one of the things that people, seem to get from it, is that some of those monsters are supposed to be able to be people or players too. Either that or maybe it was just a really big speculation. I do think that would add something to it, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who knows?
Yeah, I raged really hard during the Snarkathon on 76, mostly because I figured if it was a prequel to all the Fallout games that they would maybe, I don't know, lend something to story.
Nope.
But there's supposed to be more options in this game for story, but I have to take it with a grain of salt because nothing is going to be close to what we had for, Obsidian story,
right.
Fallout.
This was definitely a very divisive game. All the reactions were either yay or nay. There was no one who was like, well, I'll give it a fair shake. Everyone was like, this is bullshit. Or everyone was like, I'm really excited.
I'll give it a fair shake.
I'll give it a fair shake.
I don't give a fuck about Fallout, though. So
I'll try to give it a fair shake. I mean, I do very much like the setting. I thought it was kind of an odd choice, for Fallout. But like when the world goes to crap, before the world goes to crap, here's West Virginia. Da-da. And look, it's so pretty and magical. So not historically accurate. But hey, it's their version. So why not? I'm looking for my Fallout 4, which would be Fallout 3.2. And it's not going to happen. But that's okay. Yeah. That's all right. Let's see. What else did we have from Bethesda? We had the stuff at the end. Doom Eternal. That was an announcement from id Software. The sequel to Doom. Apparently a lot more of what we had in the 2016 reboot.
Yeah, looks fine by me.
It was very brief. So I didn't, I was hoping they would have more on the floor, but you're saying the only thing that they had for you to actually do was
they had
too?
Places set up for all of the games.
Right.
But because we were on the sort of like the media thing where you ran around and did the media stuff.
Is it kind of like the way they used to do the EA experience? Do you know how they used to take you through the EA experience?
Oh no, we didn't go through the booth. We didn't do booth tours and stuff. Capcom did that, but Bethesda didn't. I
hate when they do that because you can't look at the game you want to until you get there in your dedicated tour, which I always found really odd. It's like I don't want to go through all this Madden and FIFA stuff. Just give me the stuff that I'm here for.
The thing, I'm not sure what you could play. I know that for 76, for example, they literally had a go through a vault experience where you went in and you celebrated 76th day and they gave you a drink and a party hat. And you went through this huge thing. I don't know if you actually got to play the game. I couldn't tell you. I cannot confirm any of that. I have no clue what you could actually play on the show floor.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there was the whole announcement about Fallout Shelter coming to the Nintendo Switch and PlayStation 4. It's actually already out. That has already happened. Prey DLC. which looks amazing. 3 new modes. The Moon Crash DLC is out now on PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC.
Yep. It's just like a roguelite. It's very cool. You just can go through the same thing over and over again and live as long as you can. It's pretty neat.
Multiplayer DLC this summer.
I'm ready. That's the shit. That's going to be so good. The prop hunt mode is going to be the best thing for streamers in a long time. That's going to be so much fun. It's all, for those of you who never experienced Prey, it's just all jump scares. Like, the coffee cup's going to kill you. That's what this is going to be. It's just going to be like, I'm ready.
A lot of people were commenting, you know, they didn't want me to promote Prey in a weird way or something because they're like, well, John hated that game. I'm like, John didn't actually play that game. Anything that has jump scares in it, he doesn't play or didn't play like that.
Yeah, I remember he had no real desire, and you played all of it. So.
I beat the game using his key for it because I was like, okay, well, you know, I'll play some of it for you and I'll tell you a little bit about it. Maybe it'll convince you to play some of it, or if you just want me to play through it so you can have some, you know, gameplay footage for if you want to talk about it. And he's just like, okay. And so then I go and I beat the game twice, you know, once, you know, being not using any of the stuff that alters you to make you evil, basically.
Sure.
And then you get your good and your bad ending, basically. So I beat it twice, and then he refused to even touch it because of the jump scares. And I'm just like, why did I just play these two? But I would have done it anyway. I usually play those kinds of games. I don't really, know why people were like, oh, you shouldn't talk about that because John didn't like that game. It's like, 1, I have my own opinions and ideas, and 2, John didn't play it. So it's not that he hated it, he didn't play it.
Yeah.
Prey's a sleeper hit, man. It's a game that not many people got on, and you should have because it's good.
It is good. I'm going to reinstall it because of the new modes, Moon Crash DLC, and definitely for the. I don't really like playing. I shouldn't say this. Let me clarify. I don't hate multiplayer games. I just don't play a lot of them because.
Same.
I just, who has the time when all your friends are also streamers and YouTubers? You tell me, who has the time to actually play video games casually with each other when you're basically making content? Your work is your fun and your fun is your work. And that is that. So yeah, looking forward to it. Anyway, so I reinstalled it. Let's see. Quake Champions is free forever if you download it this week, which would have been, I guess, last week. Why? I don't know. Quake Champions is basically like a reskinned Overwatch. That's how it looks to me. And
I've never been into Quake, but I
was into OG
whatever.
Quake. Yeah.
It wasn't even Quake back then. I just it never tickled my fancy.
Yeah.
The reason I liked original Quake was, it's everything stripped down. Not as many choices, not as many, decisions. You jumped in and you went. And now in the era of all these arena and battle royale and so many options from so many different developers and studios, they've got to compete. And I guess that's why it is the way that it is. I just prefer the game stripped down, and it was literally about skill. And that's all it was to me. So, Rage 2, Jesse, you got to play some of this. The collector's edition was announced during the showcase. So if you want to throw down $120, you could. In-game content would be some of those goodies. And a gory talking head for your living room.
True. Man. For those of you who don't know, I liked the first Rage. The first Rage was a good-ass game with a terrible ending. One of the worst endings in video game history. It was a non-ending. It's like a 99% incredible game, crap ending. This one plays better than the first one, looks better than the first one, but still has the same mechanics. Like, even though I was using controller, I knew exactly what I needed to do, and I knew exactly how I wanted to play. And while you have awesome abilities and you can slow time and you can punch guys and stomp dude and go into rage mode and all that stuff, the end of the day, wing stick, or I think wings, what is the name of that? Wing stick, I think. that plus a
No
shotgun
idea.
combo is basically a boomerang, but like the future boomerang because there's 3 instead of just 1. Anyway, you throw it, you hit a guy, and they're like, oh, and then you blast them with a shotgun. Still works. It still works flawlessly, and I love that shit. So like, I had so much fun playing it. It is an incredible demo. But that's, you know what? It reminded me of when I played the Wolfenstein demo last year, where it's like you are BJ in a wheelchair gunning down Nazis. And I was like, that's one of my favorite demos. This, I had the exact same vibe where it's like, you have to break into this building, defeat all these like apocalyptic nutty guys, but you do it with your awesome rage powers and you do it with crazy weapons and being able to jump into the air and slam into the ground and send like 8 dudes flying never is bad. Never. Superhero smashing into the ground and sending dudes flying is incredible. But I don't think you even have to use all those abilities because at the end of the day, it's still just a run and gun blowing guys down. And I had a blast. It was really, really cool. So I had a good time with it. But I have no clue what the final game is going to be. The level we saw is, if you're wondering, the level I played is literally the level they demoed. So what you saw at the whatever conference that was, I don't know if it was Bethesda, but whatever conference that was that showed it.
Bethesda showed some Rage 2. I'm not
like,
sure.
It was the whole thing where you break into the satellite facility and then the president's like escape pod comes down and then you go. It was that whole thing. So what you saw in the video is literally what we played, except we got to play it ourselves and be stupid and I had a lot of fun.
As you do.
Yep.
There was that crazy moment during the Bethesda conference. Dodger, did you happen to do this one on Drop Frames at all?
I didn't do Bethesda.
Oh, that's right.
I didn't even watch it.
Okay. There was a moment in the Bethesda conference where it kind of like cut to this promo and you're thinking, what is this? And then all of a sudden there's dude and an Amazon Alexa, you know, the Amazon Echo.
Oh, yes.
Skyrim on a console.
Right.
The console being your Amazon Echo.
An actual thing.
I
thought this was a hardcore spoof.
It definitely was. It was designed like basically Bethesda trolled everyone in that they made this as a joke, and everyone at the conference like that was really funny. That was a really funny joke. And then the next day, straight up just put it on Alexa. Like, get fucked, y'all. We did this as a joke, and now it actually exists. It's a real thing. It's a text-based adventure that you can play. I really want to buy an Alexa and make a video of me playing it because I think that'd be hilarious. People are like, Jesse, finish Skyrim, and it's like, okay, sure, and just play it on Alexa. That'd be incredible. That'd be it definitely they memed us and then double memed us.
They did it well. That was the one part of the conference where I was like, okay, is this a real thing? And then I'm trying to like think at the same time during the Snarkathon. I'm like, is it possible that they could actually do this? I'm supposed to be crapping all over this, but I kind of want this.
I want to know how this would work.
Right.
It was such a good, like, it was a hearty laugh. I was really dying. I was like, this is great.
I'm surprised it wasn't like an April Fool's thing that happened to be real.
Yeah.
Well, I think they nailed the timing. Like everyone going in was like, when's Skyrim gonna be on? What's the next Skyrim? And I think that was a good inward look as a company on themselves, and I thought that was pretty cute.
Yeah, you're right. Totally was. We had, let's see, Starfield was kind of teased at the end, but we still don't really know.
It's in space.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. It was just that. I mean, that was kind of it. I just remember at that point I was raging a bit at Todd Howard because he came out in a jacket that's kind of a bit too small for him, and he's just standing there for probably about an hour talking about all the games, and they started to like wind it down like they weren't going to talk about Starfield. After what happened last year with the map at E3, Jesse, you've got one of those maps, don't you? The one where it's like, oh, well, if you look at this map in this crazy way, here's Starfield. Ah, we've got a baby.
I ain't got a baby. Hell no. Hell no, I ain't got a baby. Let those idiots have one. I ain't having no baby.
Mine's 15 now, so.
Really? 15?
I know, right?
Fuck, am I old? God damn.
We're like playing all the same games now, and it freaks me out. But yeah, so Starfield.
Let's talk about babies again, because they're still young and don't define me by age.
No, I know. So yeah, Starfield, possibly set in space.
Yeah, possibly. I don't think we know anything about it other than like it was kind of a cool like intro to a Star Trek. It was like
it looked like that. Sure. It looked like that. I was just waiting for one of the stars to like shine in the way that it does in like the next gen and everything.
Although I'd be
trailers.
Super happy if they made like an awesome Star Trek game. I don't know how they do that, but I'd be like, wait, Starfield code word for the Star Trek game?
Yeah.
I'd be all right, whatever.
Okay.
But they won't. But if they did, I'd be happy.
Wolfenstein Youngbloods. I know we kind of talked about that a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
BJ.
We just got a trailer and it's
twin daughters.
Yeah, I think you know what I'm okay with it.
Set in
I know
the 80s.
People were like,
I'm down. I'm down.
I was talking with the dev team afterwards, and we were having a conversation about what to expect in. Oh my god, that baby! Oh, that
so
baby!
Cute.
Oh, that baby!
How are we supposed to talk about video games? Oh, it's so adorable. I say it like it's an it. It's obviously a she.
She lost her Binkus and she has hiccups. So.
Oh, perfect! Right into the microphone.
Hi, beep beep.
But I was talking with the devs about the new Wolfenstein stuff, and I was like, okay, I need to know, because it's one of my favorite parts of the other games. What music are you guys going to cover?
Oh gosh, yes.
In like terrible German like covers of music. And then I was like, also, PS, for the record, you need to have, because it's set in France, you need to have a version of 99 Luftballons, but not German, French.
Okay, so
a French version of the song, because it's in France and they have to do weird covers of all the songs. And there's an American version and there's a German version.
Right.
We need a French version.
Yeah. We need basically the music that was in Atomic Blonde needs to go to Wolfenstein. That just needs to happen. It's like Berlin music at that moment needs to, we can move
the music they do for those games is
bit.
So good. Like it's incredibly clever how they do that. And so I was like, guys, that's what I want. And they're like, you'll be surprised what songs we've chosen. I'm like, ooh, maybe I will. So.
Elder Scrolls Blades, which we've already kind of ragged on. The Elder Scrolls Legends, if you enjoy your card games. I like the look at this, but
the updated changes they made it to the game, like they made it. There's changes they made it to the game.
We can talk good.
Yeah, the changes they made to the game are graphically much better looking than what it used to be in the past. So kudos to them for taking that step.
I like the fact that it's coming to Switch, because it actually looks like something that I would probably play on Switch. Just because it feels really weird to me to still play any kind of game that I would be like, oh, I only want to play this on my PC. You know, kind of like Hearthstone in a weird sort of way. Like, I don't want to play Hearthstone on my PC. I want to play it on my tablet because it's easier. You just, it's very easy for touchscreen. So the same thing with Elder Scrolls Legends. The interface and everything looks like it would be good to play on a Switch. I don't like to play all these other games that people are like, oh my gosh, you have to play this huge game that, typically you would play on your PC, but you want to play it on your Switch, woo. And I'm just like, no, I just mouse, keyboard. But I'm not everybody. And then the Elder Scrolls 6, which I predicted during my Snarkathon at the beginning of the conference. I'm like, maybe. I knew that it wasn't going to be ready or anything, because there had been tweets like in May or April where developers are like, we haven't even really started development on it yet. But I just kind of like to hear that it's still happening in the background, because otherwise I get into my Final Fantasy VII remaster frame of mind, where it's like, hey, we hyped up this huge thing, but then it kind of didn't go our way, so we brought everything in-house, but we're still not going to tell you anything about it or even show you a tiny little screen.
Ooh, I heard that was a shit show. Whatever happened with the remake apparently was bad.
Yeah, but we knew
Which
that last
you know what?
year.
It's great. I'd rather have nothing than a bad Final Fantasy VII remake.
No, true. Definitely true. And I think that was basically it for Bethesda. Not a whole lot because the time was mostly taken up by Fallout 76.
Yeah.
And it looks good if you want to build portable bases, and they'll have their big giant collector's edition, which has all the premium stuff, and you get to stockpile nuclear missiles hidden on the wasteland. Fun. And multiplayer. So, on to Squeenix. New Dragon Quest. Because it's a new
Great.
Dragon Quest.
Dragon Quests are fun. Yeah.
I like that Dragon Quest sticks kind of to its roots. Final Fantasy as a franchise has very much gone
Off the rails.
all different manner of
Crazy.
directions since the days way back when. I'd say probably since 10 maybe, just kind of after 10 it just sort of seemed to go everywhere, every which way, for me personally. That's just me.
Well, that's
Dragon
because they
Quest
tried 12 they were trying to do like a single player MMO thing,
Yeah.
and 13 was all about graphics over actual substance, and then they just kept making 13s. And 14 was an MMO because they had to replace 11, and then 15 was like, we want to tell the grand story with no story. So hopefully they'll get back to, they'll find a game that actually is awesome somewhere in the mix. Maybe
Yeah.
16 will come out, we'll be like, yeah, but until then, tears.
Well, they are bringing out the Monster Hunter World crossover coming to Final Fantasy XIV. So that's maybe going to get some people. Some people might be.
I'm so excited. I muted myself because she has super loud hiccups, but I'm
you're
so
fine.
excited for Final Fantasy XIV to have.
I think you
some
shouldn't
highlights
mute yourself,
and
and we should hear baby hiccups.
I'm good with hearing
I
baby.
feel like
hiccups.
they're gone now suddenly.
Oh, well.
I'm gonna will hiccup, hiccup,
Do it.
hiccup, child.
Yeah, apparently they took the behemoth, right? And put it into, is that right? No. What monster is it that they're putting into Monster Hunter from Final Fantasy? Sam knows. Sam, are you still out there? Fuck. There's just gonna be like a Monster Hunter event inside of Final Fantasy XIV, I think. It's not like a raid or anything. It is Behemoth? Okay, sick. I'm not dumb.
We saw the Palico Companion in there, and Rathalos in there as well. So I'm not exactly sure what the Palico will do.
I think it's a minion. In
yeah.
Final Fantasy XIV, you have just like little toy minions that follow you around.
Yeah,
which
and
I am down for.
Rathalos will be a boss fight in the MMO. So hey, why not?
Sick.
Yeah, I wish I got to play more Monster Hunter World, if I'm honest. I feel like I haven't put enough time or energy into that game yet for me to actually have justified my purchase. And we purchased it twice because obviously John and I wanted to be able to play together.
Right.
The day when you have to pay $59.99 twice, no review copies because Squeenix.
Yeah, we live that life.
Oh yes.
I feel
yes.
you.
Yeah.
Oh.
We saw again the awesome adventures of Captain Spirit, and we saw Just Cause 4 again. We saw Kingdom Hearts 3 again. The game that they spent the majority of the time on seemed like Shadow of the Tomb Raider.
They did do a long demo
True.
of that, yeah.
That was the first time that we'd seen any kind of gameplay. And they made a big deal. It's like, oh, well, you know, Lara Croft's going to use, like, everything she's learned over the past 2 games in this, you know, reboot trilogy, and it's going to be amazing. And then all they did, really, was show that she, like, learned how to rappel, and she learned how to, like, dodge and disengage combat using line of sight. Those are very novel ideas in video games.
Can I tell again, going back to Mixer, lovely place.
Right.
I watched when they revealed this on the Xbox conference when they showed Tomb Raider. All the comments had nothing to do with the game. They're just like, "Damn, Laura thick." And I was like,
Wow.
everyone was like, "Yeah, look at that ass though."
Does she look different than she did in the other games?
Yes.
Her face is different, right?
As far as I'm aware, the other games, like, for once, chat might be right on this one. Like, I feel like they sexed her up a bit compared to the previous ones, and I'm not sure why that is. But like, even I saw it. I was like, she looks a little different. She looks a little different than the previous games.
All I know is she couldn't buckle her own seatbelt on the plane, on the chopper in the initial like gameplay. It's like she was having trouble, and I'm just like, girl, I remember when you were in the first game in the reboot, and you looked so waifish that I was like, how is this?
Well, I think that was the whole point. It was supposed to be like she's starting out, and you want to protect her because she doesn't know what she's doing. And then as time goes on, she's supposed to become a badass, but I didn't know becoming a badass meant that like you had a giant ass and boobs all of a sudden. Like, I don't know. Like, it just appeared. Like, it definitely, she's a little bit different. You're like, okay. Yeah.
I just want to know like what else makes the game different for me personally. It's like, her getting a bit thicker and more like, I mean, again, they've just hammered home so hard on the whole, hey, you know, she's having all of the things that she learned in the past 2 games, and now, you know, she is actually now a Tomb Raider. And I'm like, well, she was kind of supposed to already be one in the past 2 games, but hey, it's the story that they want to tell. I know that the difference between this one and the previous 2 is Eidos Montreal have taken over the majority of the development. So that could also maybe be why Lara looks a bit different.
Right.
Because before it was mostly the guys at Crystal Dynamics doing most of the development. So Eidos Montreal gave us things like Deus Ex, Thief, and so this whole, I can disengage because of line of sight stuff. It's just, you can kind of see that it's kind of leaning more towards like the stealth mechanics. I mean, of course, it already had like element of stealth to the game as it was, but.
Yeah, I was saying I would have been more impressed if with this game they gave you a pacifist option, like to stealth enough to not have to kill anybody, but.
I don't think it's unreasonable to expect that maybe that could be a possibility. But sadly, I don't know. But we will find out. September 14th is the launch for that on PC, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One. Set in Mexico.
See.
Yes. Just one more open world game.
Yep. Thank God.
Yeah. I mean, they also had Just Cause 4, of course, because you're never tired of open world sandbox action games with adventure elements. Another casualty of Walmart Canada's massive secrets. Their low prices and low expectations to keep secrets. Let's see. New Life is Strange 2. Did we get some of that?
I don't think we got Life is Strange 2 stuff, did we?
I didn't see anything about it, but I didn't watch every conference.
Yeah, for some reason I had it on my notes, and I'm like, I wouldn't have put it there unless there was something about it.
I think Captain Spirit, because it's the prequel Life is Strange 2, maybe they touched on it.
Yeah, it might have just been my expectation or something. Probably was. Some Brave Exvius stuff. They just did like a little tiny blip, and that was sort of.
Oh my God! They had a speaking of Brave Exvius, they had a big poster at the Just Cause booth that was like Just Cause characters now in Brave Exvius, and I was like, this game exists only to suck the money from the living. What a maddening game that is.
The thing I actually probably remember the most from the Square Enix conference was the game that is the new IP, the Quiet Man.
Oh,
that was a weird trailer.
It was, and apparently the game is also a combination of like full video and.
You save so much without your protagonist having, VO. it's a way to save bucks, isn't it?
I guess.
I know, it's just weird. It's like dude shows up in an alley. There's like, you know, like a brown paper bag, and all of a sudden, you know, it's just like all these guys and, you know, coming out. And at the same time, we're just like, okay, what's happening? And then it's just like, the quiet man. So I'm curious to see what else comes of that. I was hoping that Jesse might be able to tell us if they had anything on the floor for it, but I guess with it being new IP, they wouldn't have anything this soon.
A game where you fight people and you're deaf, I assume it'll work in a mechanics somehow?
Daredevil, but the game.
Right.
And then, of course, we saw a lot more Kingdom Hearts. Not going to say it again.
Yes.
There was a lot of Kingdom Hearts.
There was a lot of Kingdom Hearts. If you're a Kingdom Hearts fan, that was your thing. On to the awesome show that is the Ubisoft conference with the amazing opening that happens at every Ubisoft conference, which is
I love it. Just Dance.
Just
love it.
Dance.
Mm-hmm.
A game named after a Lady Gaga song, still going strong. Still going strong.
So good.
You know what? Every year, it's the Ubisoft booth is one of the most packed places because people just go to watch them dance. They do like a live Just Dance thing and invite people up on the stage to dance with them. And every year, people just stand around and watch. Every year.
I remember what seemed like the first year when when Ubisoft kind of kept everything in just like this one square at E3, and it was just such a weird little zone, and they had absolutely all of their stuff in this one square, and just in the middle they had, you know, a little round stage, and that is where Just Dance was at that moment. And this is back when, you know, controllers and things were still being used for everything, and it was so it's just really strange to think that's where we were not even maybe 4 years ago, and now this is where we are, and it's a huge deal, and yet I still haven't bought a single one or played any of them.
That's because you don't like the fact that they're demanding you dance. Like,
maybe.
they're not saying please dance, it's just dance. Yeah.
I think it's because
you just dance.
They're telling me exactly how I must dance. And I'm one of those people, I color outside the lines, so I don't get on well with those. But which is weird, because things like Guitar Hero or Rock Band, I could totally do and be fine with. For some reason, I'm okay with that, but I'm not okay with a game telling me how to dance. I have no explanation for myself. I really don't. What took up the most time at Ubisoft's conference? Obviously, Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
Yeah. They did spend a lot of time on that.
Everyone very excited. No problems on the internet.
No.
Everyone was so thrilled to have a female Spartan. Everyone.
Because that's historically accurate, and
everyone was happy. Not a soul complained. The end.
Yes, that's how I remember it as well.
Yep. That's what happened.
I mean, it's like The Witcher, but like in Greece, right? And like, you know, if you could time travel anywhere, certainly that's where you'd go.
Look,
right?
They took two incredibly cool time periods and gave us both. Rather than being like...
They gave us ship battling again.
Yeah. I'm fine with it. Look, I'm going to take some...
No one complained.
Yeah.
Literally
take
no
some
one.
of that sweet-ass fire. And yeah, everything was fine. Everything was fine. Everything was great. No one complained. No one was like... this is dumb and I hate it. In fact, most people like me were thinking, hey, can I just recreate the Odyssey by traveling around the Mediterranean? And the answer, I hope, is yes.
Definitely.
Yeah, I hope there's a quest that's literally the Odyssey. That's all I want. That's all I want is to travel between all the crazy islands. The end.
The only way to trigger it is to have a full family inside of the game.
Yes, and
romance option.
Leave your family, but at the same time, there's a mini game where you have to sew a quilt in order to trick suitors, but then at night unstitch the quilt in order to keep sewing it, so that you don't have to marry any of them.
Oh wow!
I'm letting you know. Also, boy, do I know way too much about the Odyssey.
Goodness.
Hi, everyone.
You do. I mean, no one could ever tell that you were ever like a history teacher or anything.
I know, it's weird.
What?
Yeah, but that's what she did, y'all.
Yeah. I do like that they're they're sort of separating the play from everything I've heard. Depending on the protagonist that you choose, the game will differ. So they want you to play it through with both protagonists eventually. So I do like games that are that long that do have some replayability, because you feel like you're getting a little more bang for your buck. Although I know there's probably a lot of people who are like, I'm not going to play the chick option because I'm not a chick.
Are you kidding me? That's the best.
I mean, who doesn't want to look at that? Who doesn't want to look at that?
Why is it okay for when everyone's like, yo, which shepherd did you play? And everyone's like female, like femme shep.
Yeah.
It depends on who has the better VO for me, usually.
But now it's like, oh, a girl in a game. That's dumb. It's like, what? What are you talking about?
Tonight we game in hell. And something Sparta.
I want to play a badass female Spartan, and I wanted to make out with other badass female Spartans. That's the game I want to play. I don't know what game people are afraid of playing. I want to have her be like, yes, I'm awesome. Also, I want to make out with everyone. Best game ever.
The only thing I'm kind of concerned with this game is supposedly there's a bit of focus on the naval combat, and I feel like with them already doing Skull and Bone, like, I'm kind of concerned because, I mean, so far what we've seen of Skull and Bone seems to be about what we've seen the last time. So it's, Assassin's Creed Black Flag, except no assassinations, which is kind of weird.
Well, I think if I'm trying to think of like what I would imagine the combat to be. I don't think, because during this time period, you weren't sailing the open sea. If you went out farther than a certain part of the coast, you'd be dead.
Yeah.
Your ass would be gone. So I think maybe we'll have things like Greek fire and like cool moments where it's like, yes, Greek naval battles, which were literally just dudes hopping from ship to ship. Like, I don't think we're going to have like, 'tis true, I be fighting Greeks now. Like, that's not going to happen. I don't think that's going to happen at all.
Oh,
so
but I kind of hope so now that you've put it out
that's
there.
True.
I kind of want that now.
One of the quests is there's a pirate. Jack Sparrow travels back in time to ancient Greece.
Oh, fuck, it's all coming together.
Yeah. And he and Sora have to do battle with the
No,
Spartans. It's crazy. Then Mickey shows up. All the games are getting weird now. I don't know. Disney owns everything.
They're buying everything. It is the end of the world as we know it.
Watch out, Sparta! I'll burn you to the ground.
I love it. What a good game, Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, Assassin's Creed's getting better every year. We have to assassinate that bitch.
I
like how you held your baby. You held Clark like, oh no, child.
I'll protect you, sweet summer child.
Boy.
The story person in me likes the fact that they're doing branching dialogue in this game, which is obviously different from the other Assassin's Creed games. So it's like, yay, there's something for me. Woo. And of course, you can play early if you pay extra.
Yeah,
of course.
You know what? That sounds like Ubi.
Yeah. Deluxe, Gold, and Ultimate Editions. And as per usual, getting that whole Uplay thing downloaded, which is the bane of my existence. I hate Uplay so much. But then again, I also hate Origin. But it's like, at that point, it's like, then why don't you hate Steam? Oh, I don't know, because all my games are there. It's too I'm in too deep to hate it. That's why.
Look, I don't like Steam either.
No,
it's what we got.
It's what we have to use. So there we go. I liked what they showed of Beyond Good and Evil 2. Although it's like, was that Jade?
Oh, it was Jade, and she's bad now, y'all.
Yeah.
She's bad now. Oh.
But the trailer that they showed, I thought was really cool. I thought it was maybe just a taste more than what we saw last year when they showed it to us for the first time. But I wish that we got something other than a trailer. I know that might sound really selfish for them only being maybe a year into development, but...
No, it definitely deserves more. You're absolutely right. It told us nothing new. In fact, the funny part is most people probably don't even know the first game at all.
No.
Aside from the hype, most people probably don't know what the hell the first game was about.
Also, who loved the fact that, the kid from Third Rock from the Sun, happened to be there to, intro that, he's
and
getting
Frodo,
into it
Frodo
too.
was there, too.
Frodo was there, too, yeah. It's like when we've not got but one, but two actors. That's amazing.
You know what? Cool.
Yeah, I mean, actors wanting to throw their money at video games, bring it.
I want to be friends. Can I just be? Can I be honest with you? Hey, everyone watching, I'll be friends with Frodo. like someone call him. He's got to live in Hollywood. Why can't we be friends? I want to be his friend. Like, I think we'd have a good time.
I think you might be too alpha to be his friend.
No way. Look, as we discussed, I am definitely a bottom. So like,
I know, but that's what I mean. I can't see you being Sam.
Oh, I could be his friend.
Frodo.
We would go we wouldn't go clubs. We'd go grab a coffee and talk about like our feelings and shit. And I'd be like, yeah,
go on a quest.
You're right, Frodo. You're right. We'd be good pals. And then we'd go throw a ring in a mountain together. It'd be great.
But you wouldn't let him throw the ring in there. I mean, that's the one
Are you
difference
saying I'm the golem of this relationship? Oh my god. You're right.
I'm saying that you would not willingly cast something worth potential dollars into the fires of Mount Doom.
Into the fire of Mount Doom? I don't know. If it meant that my friend wouldn't turn into a hideous beast, I probably would throw it in, but then I'd like open a shop there and be like, this is where the ring was thrown in. Come on, everyone, take a look. And I'd do
Get
tours.
your picture taken.
Yeah, get your picture taken with the fossils of Gollum.
With this cutout Frodo. You too can drop the ring into these fake rings that you charge them to throw.
You put a penny in a machine and it turns into a ring and then you can throw it in the lava. Yeah,
Make it a family fun adventure. Mum, Dad, please, let's go to Mordor.
Yeah. Bring the little ones and the hobbits.
But don't forget your sunscreen. It's bright and hot.
Yep.
So yeah, Ubisoft talked about a lot of the stuff that we've already seen in previous conferences. The Division 2 again. For Honor got an update. I feel like we should bring Sam in here. I was like, Sam has put so many hours into that game. I was so happy to see that For Honor was getting something.
Right.
Because I was like, Sam deserves it.
Yeah. They let a few people come in and get like really long hands-on stuff with all of the new classes and things. And he said they're all super fun.
Yeah, so they added the Wulin, Chinese fighting force, and so that's the first new faction since launch. And the starter edition is free on Uplay, but that's a deal that is only for the moment, so it's not going to continue to be that way. Although I wish it would, because I feel like For Honor would have a bit of a bigger player base. But then again, it's like, what would that do monetization-wise? Like, how else are they going to continue to fund it? But I feel like For Honor was built up so heavy initially, and then it's just like support just like phew, phew. So I hope that this gets more people interested and gets people playing it again. Sam deserves it. Let's crap on Starlink Battle for Atlas for a moment. I am so tired of Skylanders, the game. I'm so tired of, it's like, didn't Disney, the Disney thing where you buy the toys also die? Starlink, the game where you want to build a ship on your controller. No, I don't. But here's Star Fox. Star Fox will encourage you to play it. No, not even then. Not even then am I going to play Starlink.
I'm going to let you know. I'm going to let you know something right now. You may not like it. I may not like it. But Dodge and I both know this office is about to have a Starlink in it.
You guys can have it.
Just
and you guys can talk
Star
about
Fox
it on the podcast.
There's going to be like 8 Starlinks in this office. I know what's about to happen. So just because we may not be too thrilled about it, I truly believe games like this are games that are like, yeah, this is really cool for the kids. So
I felt it was like for the kids and everything. And, part of me is like, oh, well, my kid is 15 now, so he's not going to really be into this. But hey, I might have gotten it for him if he was a few years younger. Sure. And then they just like threw Star Fox into the mix. And I'm like, oh, wait, this is a cash grab. This is how you're getting people in. You couldn't do it on your own. So and then, of course, them to present the like limited editions, like, hey, we made this just for you.
Rabbids.
Yes. Rabbids. Rabbids is like the greatest thing to happen at a Ubisoft conference, period. That's just all that can be said.
Sure. Yep.
So yeah, we talked a little bit about Elijah Wood's presence, but I don't think we actually talked about Transference, which is the game that his studio is collabing with Ubisoft to bring to us, which is a kind of like a VR horror sort of game. I'm not sure.
I'm ready for it. It looks badonkers. Yeah.
I like that it looks creepy, although it had some very interesting, like, please don't touch me there, mister moments to it, which kind of freaked me out. I was like, I felt like during Snarkathon, I was like, I need an adult, please. Trials Rising.
All the Trials games are dumb but fun.
Yes. Senseless, but I enjoy them. There'll be a beta ahead of the release. Beta. Skull and Bones, we kind of talked about a little.
It is true.
Set during the golden age of piracy.
Hey, tis pirates.
They showed us a trailer, and then they gave us a little bit of the gameplay. They revealed that they were doing Hunting Grounds, the Hunting Grounds mode, featuring PvPvE. And hopefully we'll see more. They spent a little bit of time on it, but I feel like Assassin's Creed really did dominate. Well, that and Just Dance, obviously the bit that they did.
Just Dance.
Also The Crew 2. I liked the original The Crew, so here's hoping it's just more of that. The beta is coming out soon, and apparently you can preload it right now on PS4 and Xbox One and PC. We like to pretend. They
love to sell you games early. That is their jam.
That is their jam. I feel like every time I have to, shill out say what platforms things are on, I'm like, do people actually watch this show who play on consoles? Maybe.
There might be one or two.
Yeah, could be. I really kind of think that that's it, really, from Ubisoft. I think I was upset for them. Yeah, I was very upset at not getting any Tom Clancy Splinter Cell. I think
everyone had that.
I thought that we were gonna get something because of Sam Fisher being in that game promo for Ghost Recon, and I'm just thinking, it's about time that we saw something new.
Sure. And
Michael Ironside was there, and I'm like, but no such luck.
Right.
Rainbow Six Siege, third year of support. They did a little blurb about Rainbow Six and really not much else. After that was, I believe, the PC gaming show. I'm probably mixing up the order now.
I didn't watch any of the PC gaming show, so I have no clue what occurred.
That's okay. I watched it. Let's see if I have any, I'm grabbing all of the notes from stuff. But basically, Day 9 variety show featuring all the interviews that you'd rather not see and crazy reveals that people basically paid a lot more money than other people in order to show you. It was a bit of Walking Dead. I was really excited because they showed a Raw Fury thing, and I'm a big fan of this is where my indie geek comes out. I played Kingdom and the Kingdom New Lands for
Kingdom is so fun.
I played it for much more time than I probably ever should have. I mean, I got the unicorn. That's how long I played it. Over and over and over. I played the original and the new one because I just had to do it for my own sake. And then, of course, they released Skull Island DLC, and I have to go back and play that now. So, I didn't get any more on Kingdom, but I was thinking that they were going to do some stuff from The Last Night or any of those games, and it's nope. Although the Sinking City, I think, is something that you'll like, Brooke.
Oh, the Sinking City is the game with the tentacle beast at the end.
Yeah, it's
I saw that trailer. That shit looks awesome.
Sherlock Holmes, but sort of Lovecraftian, kind of like LA Noire a little bit as well.
It looks very, very cool.
Basically, I'm just gonna go over the games that I listed. I made notes during the show, and I'm like, I want to play this. That was the first game that I wrote down. Man Eater, where you get to be a shark. I thought that looked really cool too.
Everyone sent me clips of that, and I'm afraid to watch the beginning of it.
Oh.
I know you are the shark, but I don't want to be a shark that gets eaten by other sharks. That's terrifying. I know, Clark. This sucks.
Poor thing. And probably one of the moments I geeked out the most was when they came out with the new the theme hospital spiritual successor.
2 Point or whatever it's called.
Yeah. 2 Point Hospital. Yeah. So as soon as that was announced, I was like, I knew that it was coming, but I wasn't sure how good it would be. They showed a little bit of it, just clips here and there, and it looked really good. It looked like a worthy spiritual successor on first glance. Obviously, I have to reserve judgment until I actually get the game in my hands. Cloud Imperium Games was there, and I was just like, are we going to hear about Star Citizen? No.
Of course.
Chance Agency was also there. NeoCab, did you guys happen to see that? The one where you're like an Uber driver?
Mm-mm.
I thought that looked really cool too. That was another note that I had made. I want to play that. I wish I could tell you more about all of these. They did a huge segment on Warframe. Obviously, more people getting back into that game. They're bringing some new content out. I'm going to skip over to Sony because the show has already been pretty darn long as it is. I guess the big thing with the Sony conference, Death Stranding, WTF. Go. That trailer.
I still have no clue what the fuck that game's about.
Same.
I couldn't tell you. I couldn't even tell you.
I haven't even watched the trailer from E3.
Okay. If you haven't seen
literally
it,
what we got was, you know how on this podcast in the past, whenever we looked at a trailer on like games that are coming out soon, and it's just someone walking, and we're like, what is this game about? It's just someone walking through scenes. That's the trailer we got.
Gotcha.
That's and there's a little bit here and there that sort of ties what's going on with previous trailers. So you're like, oh, I guess I kind of get it that it rains time, ? But it's still bizarre and still nonsense and still just like, okay, sure, we'll see what this is.
it's like Norman Reedus does a lot of walking. I have a feeling that maybe we're like somewhere crazy remote, like Greenland, and he is like the best delivery boy ever.
Why is there a baby in his mouth?
Yeah. Okay. So that was the begin. Yeah. So that there's some.
We saw a baby butt at the beginning. That happened.
We did.
Okay.
Which I did not show the stream. I'm showing them a bit of the trailer now, but I purposefully did not show them the other part because I was worried that it would get like stricken for like
it would be
explicit content.
A little too weird. Yeah.
Yeah. But this entire trailer was very, very strange. I was very happy to actually see how uncanny some of their technology is now to putting Léa Seydoux in the game. She's like one of my favorite French actresses, and it's like I knew that was her voice, and as soon as I saw the female in the trailer, I was like, that looks so much like her, and then they finally announced at the end that it was her, and I was like, yes! Because I love her so much, and she's just the most gorgeous thing. Oh,
such a bizarre trailer again.
It's very weird. We know nothing.
Yeah.
We know nothing. All I know is
We
didn't
still
the first
know
one have,
literally nothing. Yeah, that's how it seems.
I feel like the first game had like mentions of like whales or something, and we got none of that in this one.
You know that first trailer when it's like all the dead things washed up on the beach?
Yeah.
They had that in the last trailer where they had some of that where it's like him and the other dude and they're trying to survive, and the basic premise as far as I can tell is that there are aliens, demons, something that are invisible, and they can hunt you and kill you with time. Like they rapidly age you, but rain itself also hurts you. So like,
I mean, the invisible footprints showed up like right next to the character, so it's like, what, can they not see you? Or
yeah, they can't see you, but they can hear you? ? I don't know.
It's
I have
all
no clue.
bizarre. So yeah,
no clue.
basically our summary is Death Stranding, all hail Kojima. They're letting him do whatever. And you know what? He kind of deserves to be
That's what people
let
asked
do whatever.
for. People were like, let him off the leash. Let him do whatever he wants. So this is what we're getting.
Yeah.
Again, for the record, Norman Reedus still doesn't even know what it's about, and he's in it.
I know.
Just for the record, the man has been like, I don't know what it's about, and he's in it. So just enjoy.
We saw a bit of Marvel's Spider-Man, which is releasing September the 7th. I figured we would see that because of the pretty close release date.
Sure.
And we got to see a lot of bad guys. The 6. At least I believe we saw all 6.
Did we?
I don't know 100% if we did. I remember seeing a fair amount of them. Just can't remember.
Yeah, and then there was the one mysterious person.
Right, which is it Tony Stark?
I
Mr.
think
Stark, I don't feel so good.
Well, they said there's not going to be a symbiote.
Ah.
Oh, we saw 5? Did we see 5? Hold on, now I got to think about this. Electro, Scorpion, we didn't see Mysterio. You're right, chat. We didn't see Mysterio, and we didn't see Doc Ock. But, yeah, I don't know who it could be, but they did say there would be no symbiotes in this game. So it's not going to be like Venom, and it's not going to be Carnage or anyone like that. No one's going to show up.
I still think this game looks really cool. I'm going to play it. I know it's very Arkham in style. As far as combat is concerned.
But it looks so fun.
It does look fun. And in the end, sometimes you just want a game that is just going to be fun, and you don't really have to think about it. I like my story-driven games a lot, and I love that choices matter and stuff in all these other games, but sometimes you just want to play a Spider-Man game. Or, I was thinking we were going to get an Avengers title, but that's not a thing that was announced. At least not at the conference, during the conference, as far as I know.
Yeah, they talked about an Avengers game last year, right?
Yeah.
But they didn't mention it this year.
Right, and so I don't know if they dropped it or if it's still happening. I haven't... Unfortunately, E3 is massive information overload. My brain is already a swamp right now. That's just kind of where we are.
Sounds about right.
Yeah. The beginning of the conference was actually really interesting, if I'm honest, because of the whole, hey, we're in a church, which was strange. They were setting it up for The Last of Us Part 2.
Right.
Sure.
And then chat basically exploded. That is all I can really say, because girls kissing. I don't even know why.
Huge fan.
Yeah.
Huge fan.
I don't know why chat exploded in such a weird way, but it did. During my stream anyway.
Well, it's one of those things that I think had both a meme quality to it with the internet, because the internet is children. But also it had this is a major gaming moment. However, I will simply say they clearly did not play Fear Effect back in the 90s, because that shit had women kissing all the time. So I'm just pointing it out there. Anyway, people were just like, it's a major release, and everyone was like, this is exciting and it's different and new. And then the gameplay was brutal and crazy and looked awesome. But the first one looked awesome. It just had shitty gameplay mechanics.
And I feel like this one might too, because it seemed like all of the NPCs were totally unaware. They're literally the deafest, blindest, most unaware NPCs ever that they showed during the kind of gameplay moment where they showed her sneaking through some of the structures and shelters and whatnot. And also, why would you hang a guy but then decide to stab him? Because you can, I guess.
Because you're crazy. It's the end of the world. You do what you do.
Yes. So that was a thing that we saw. And we saw some...
Whatever
there was a remaster,
Japanese awesome samurai game was.
Oh, Ghost of Tsushima?
That game was a dope ass trailer.
I thought it was so pretty.
Visually, going through all the fields and stuff was awesome, but the fact that all the ninja stuff, all that was cool. But the last scene where you had that very stylized sword fight, while arrows are flying around you, and what an awesome moment to have captured in a demo. I was in from Jump Street when I saw that shit. I was like, oh, and then all these like Mongol hordes. Oh, I was ready. I was so excited. What a great ending to that. That was so cool.
I know I had some issues during the Snarkathon with it because it looked like the draw distance, there was something kind of messed up with it. And I'm not sure if it was maybe just frames dropping or if there was just a bit of tearing in there. So I'd really like to see what settings we get for that. Obviously, I want a lot of options for a game like that. It looks like something I would put a lot of time into. Also set in feudal Japan, just like the other game that we saw. So I feel like
there's gonna be a lot of those. There's gonna be a lot of those coming out.
And I'm okay with it. But I really did like the look of Ghost of Tsushima. I think that, again, it looks so pretty. Like the end of after the combat scene and everything, it's just like I was just like, oh, that's so pretty. Please show me the options menu.
It was look, it was the most tropey, beautiful thing I've ever seen. Where he's like, I'm not gonna kill you because together we have to fight this horde. And I was like, I want you so badly. I was ready for that game. It looks so good.
There was also I think possibly a VR title. The stream had like sort of crashed for me when it was happening. I believe it was called Control. It kind of looked like an Inception, sort of.
Yes, I watched this on YouTube because it crashed for me too on Twitch, so I went to YouTube and watched it. I remember the title. I don't remember what the hell this game is.
I just remember it looked like you could pull things and you could obviously push things, but that's VR in a nutshell. You're always gonna kind of be able to do things like that. But I thought it looked really interesting.
I'm trying to remember if this is the game that the first thing I thought of was them using the same mechanics from what the hell is that Xbox game where you could freeze time? Remember that shit? And it came out Quantum something. Quantum
Not
Leap.
Quantum Break.
Quantum Leap with Scott Baio? What?
Yeah, Scott Baio was in it, and yeah, whatever that game was called, it very much reminded me of that. Everything about it seemed very like, oh, we're gonna use very similar quantum breaky mechanics.
I remember trying to figure out what was going on. I was like, this looks kind of like Ghost in the Shell stuff initially, and then it went a little weird, and I'm just like, I don't know. Is this?
I like weird. Weird is fun.
No, I'm good too. I just like, I thought it might have been Mirror's Edge, kind of. It was leaning that way too, and then.
Oh, is it the same devs? No wonder it looks the exact. All right, it's the exact same devs. Okay,
well, there you go then. That would be why.
Great. Yeah.
I'm just checking to make sure that we didn't miss anything. I feel like we covered most things.
I will say 3 games that really stood out for me.
Mm-hmm.
Well, first off, Capcom killed it with Resident Evil 2. It looks
that's what I was
so good.
I was
Resident
so
Evil
hyped.
2. First off, the thing they let you play. Well, first, in order to play it, you had to go through a zombie maze. So in order to even get to the room to play it, you had to go through a maze with zombies, all these zombie cops, and it was so much fun. They gave you a light and they're like, enjoy the demo. And it was terrifying. Nice. They kept jump scaring you. But the game literally is, they took Resident Evil 2, and if you play Resident Evil 2, you'll recognize everything. But they upgraded it to look like RE7, to have the same gameplay mechanics as RE7, and to have the same like gunplay as the newer games. So it feels new and fresh and awesome, but literally has the exact same map layout and exact same, like, you're doing the exact same things, but it just looks awesome. They nailed it. It is going to be huge when that game comes out. It is really cool.
I'm really excited for that game to come out now because where my son is old enough, I feel, to appreciate a game like Resident Evil 2. It's like, I feel like we can kind of share that now, and so that'll be really fun. That and the trailer actually kind of caught me off guard during the conference because it was like, are we a mouse? Are we a roach?
That was so cool.
What are we?
So cool.
And then all of a sudden you see Raccoon City Police, and I'm like, yes! It's like, it's the thing I didn't know that I wanted, but I still can't get a Legend of Dragoon remake. I'm never gonna let go. I'm never gonna let go.
Good luck. Good luck with that. I hope it works out for you. Played Mega Man 11 when I was at Capcom. Mega Man 11, one of the things they did, which I think is super smart of them, is Mega Man games for those who didn't play original Mega Man games. If you go back and play those, y'all, go back and play. They're kind of hard. Like, if you had never played one, so what they did for this one is they literally made an easy mode.
Aww,
so if you don't know what, they have normal mode and they have an easy mode. So if you don't know what the hell you're doing with Mega Man, they've made an easy mode for you. And that was pretty fun. One of the things, I played the Blockman stage. I'm gonna be real with you. I don't remember much about it. All I remember is the fact in the background of the stage, Blockman has a bunch of pyramids in his like Mayan pyramids, and the Mayan pyramids in the background are literally smiley faces with they're like, ooh, in the background, but they're pyramid heads. It's great. The other two things that I will, the other games I played, first off, We Happy Few finally has a story mode.
Oh yeah.
It's awesome.
I kind of skipped over that initially because it's in early access, isn't it? So
well, originally they had a story, and then when you got the early access version, it was like an open world roguelite where you had to escape. And I was like, the fuck is this? And I thought that was the game that they released, and I was really mad and disappointed. But the real game is an actual story with actual events and things that happen. It's awesome. The lore and the world building they've created is really cool. There's a lot of stuff that you can discover that really makes you realize how totally effed up the world is. So that was neat. I will give a shout out to the game Strange Brigade. We played it twice. That's how much we liked it. Strange Brigade is a game that's very much like Left 4 Dead. You play as 4 different characters. There's a variety of weapons and upgrades, and you have an emerald or like a ruby or some sort of gem that sucks up the souls of these undead things, and you can use it as special abilities. But the basic gist is it's like a 1950s style Indiana Jones adventure spoof, and you go around to different tombs around the world and embark on crazy journeys. And it was a ton of fun. Strange Brigade was a blast. Greedfall is an RPG that is basically, as far as I can tell, Pocahontas, except you play the bad guys. You're the guys who, you're the guys settling in this new world, and you as a main character, each character that you come across is part of a different faction. So there's the native character who joins you, and the faux French character who joins you, but they all have different talents, and also is set in a magical world. So while you have a sword or weapons and guns, you also have magical abilities. But it's basically, Pocahontas, but you're the bad guys, which is neat. Call of Cthulhu looked dope. Really excited for that one.
You did that game.
Oh my god, I'm excited as hell for that shit. It looks like a Sherlock game, Dodger. It looks like a Sherlock game, but with Cthulhu elements.
I'm down. I'm in.
Yeah, and then the last thing that I definitely want to touch on, because it's still my favorite game. It's my favorite game last year. Plague Tale. Plague Tale is a game about a young woman and her little brother. Her parents are gone, dead, missing, who knows? But her brother is sick, and so you're trying to get him help. And it's about you going through a war-torn France during the time of the plagues. And so there are rat plagues, there are rats everywhere, and swarms of them. They will come and kill you and come after you. But because you can't fight the rats, you have to use light to sort of force them away. And the rat physics is crazy. There's thousands of them, and they sort of swarm towards the light, but they won't get close to it. And the way you defeat enemies is by taking their light. So if a guard's coming at you, you can throw a rock and destroy his light, and the rats will swarm him and kill him. But the thing that's amazing about it is the characterization of the two characters, of the sister and the brother. The brother is like a kid. So he doesn't quite get that he's sick, and he doesn't quite get that things are wrong. And there's the one level that we saw this time. It was a different demo than last year, but the one level we saw was straight up just you find a battlefield, and there's thousands of slain soldiers, and the little boy is afraid. The dialogue's amazing. He's afraid of stepping on them because he doesn't want to hurt them. And the sister's we got to make it through this. And he's I don't want to step on their heads. And whoever the voice actor is the cutest kid voice I've ever heard in my life. It is genuinely a game that I'm very, very excited for. And every time I see it, I'm this is going to be a fucking awesome game. So a Plague Tale, look it up. It looks so cool, y'all. I see it every time, and I'm just like, I can't wait to play. So yeah.
I also skipped over Metal Wolf Chaos XD. We kind of skipped over Devolver, I'm afraid, but
first off, we played that. I asked them about this. They're remaking it. For those of you who don't know, this is a game that when Xbox first released in Japan, no one was buying it. So this was a game made for the Japanese market to get them to buy Xbox, but never came out in the States.
Yeah,
so they're
11 years ago, guys.
Yeah,
11 years ago.
They're releasing it here for the first time, but they're going to update it and make it graphically look better. But the one thing they said they will not change is the voice acting. So for those, it is terrible, but it's so funny. The thing that you need to know about this game, if you're unaware, the game is about the vice president overthrowing the president and then the president getting in a mech and seeking revenge. And it is badonkers. You have no clue. The woman who talks to you, I don't remember her name. I don't remember if it's Joy or whatever, the lady who's like your secretary. Her voice actress is so fucking like funny. She's like, "Good day, Mr. President. Are you ready to murder?" It's incredible. It is one of the greatest things I've ever seen. Maybe the best demo I've ever played. I'm ready.
Nice.
It's so bad. It's so bad. It's funny.
Well, that's basically all of the conferences. We're going to pretend that the Nintendo conference didn't happen.
Smash happened. That's it. And everyone freaks out. The
all
end.
the heroes. Woo! So best game for you guys, or at least what you're looking forward to the most out of all of the conferences and what you've, I guess, maybe seen on the floor, Jesse? Do you have a thought as to what your game of
I think
E3 was?
Cyberpunk won E3. Everyone was really excited for that. I'm more excited for some of the weirder stuff that I saw. Like I was saying, Plague Tale seemed crazy. Control is badonkers. I really liked how Wargroove was weird. Like Wargroove's a weird, quirky looking game. Ori was beautiful. Like there's a ton of Metro seemed really fun. Yeah. We Happy Few was creepy as shit. Like it isn't a scary game, even though there was a jump scare in the demo. Like there's a lot of stuff coming out that I'm really excited for. And the big takeaway I had is that the last day we were there, I remember looking to Kristen and being like, we played a lot of games and not one of them did I walk away like, boy, that was a waste of time. Every single game I played was really good. And so I genuinely think that the next year for gaming, if not next 2 years, is going to be really good. So prepare your asses for February 22nd next year, because apparently every game comes out then. And get ready. It's going to be awesome. There's a lot of cool stuff coming out.
What about you, Brooke? Your game of the show, perhaps?
Gosh, I'm now trying to remember all of the
all
stuff
the
we just talked about.
It's a lot.
Yeah. I'm really excited to see how Beyond Good and Evil 2 is. That's one of those games where I forget that it's happening, and then when I'm reminded, I'm like, oh yeah, that looks really fun. Obviously, Cyberpunk, very excited about. Yeah, I don't know. I honestly can't rember.
That's okay.
But
yeah, a game that I was kind of excited to see. I obviously hadn't heard about it, but it's called Sable. It's kind of like set in sand. Well, obviously, Sable means sand. But it's set in the desert, and it looks very kind of like hand-drawn. It's very unique art style. Definitely an indie title. Not a whole lot about it out yet, but I'm curious to see more of that. Obviously, things like The Sinking City, because I do sort of like my Sherlock Holmes twist stuff, but then again, it's like the same studio that kind of killed The Devil's Daughter, so I'm like, do we give them second chances? Part of me says yes.
Oh yeah, Sea of Solitude too. I'm super excited. That looks right up my alley, so I'm excited for that.
And things that are stupid, like Maneater, because why don't you just want to be a shark sometimes? But
unless you're Jesse.
Right. There are too many games, that is for sure. As far as conference-wise, I'm not sure how many conferences you watched all in all, Jesse, but did you have a winner? Like, who won E3?
Conference-wise, real talk, I mean, I think hype-wise, everyone is definitely, like, Nintendo did what they said they would do. But I don't like it. Didn't really float my boat. I think I might have to say for the first time this year, maybe the first time ever, Xbox probably had the best one, which is crazy to me.
Games.
Yeah, Sony had games, but their conference was garbo. Like, I don't know what they were thinking with the setup of like, all right, we're gonna go with some talking heads now in between this, and then it ended, but it wasn't over, and I don't know what they were thinking. I thought their presentation was awful. Xbox like did what they said they would do, so I gotta give it to them, which is maybe the first time I've ever said that, but good on them.
Brooke, do you have a who won E3 idea?
I liked both Xbox and Squeenix because it was literally just like, here's a bunch of games, bye.
I feel like Squeenix was kind of slightly cheating with the pre-record, but
it wasn't really a conference, but
it's a digital rollout. It's like, hey, we're all watching this together.
Right.
Yeah.
For me, I don't know. I mean, the PC gaming show is always a little bit worth it for me because I do mostly play games on the PC, but they took up so much time from people, well, developers and publishers who bought and sponsored that show. So it dedicated a large portion to just them, and I felt like that was time that really could have been used to like give to more indies, perhaps. So they did show a lot of indies, but just to get a little more in depth with them, I feel like the indie area at things like PAX and whatnot, I love going through those areas because those are where I find the majority of the games that I'm going to play. So I feel like I missed out on a fair amount of indies as a result of basically whoever had the most money. There you go. Here's your. What's weird to me is that I know Warframe has quite a certain amount of following and a certain amount of money, but yet they only showed like a little bit of Warframe but talked about it mostly. So that was kind of weird. So yeah, for me, I think Microsoft probably won the conference for me as well. Just sheer amount of games, because that's what they really focused on was the games. Aside from the whole, here's our Game Pass. Don't really care so much about that, but games.
Yeah.
Right. So that has been our Co-optional Podcast, E3 ginormously long and impromptu, strangely scheduled, late, but you still got a show anyway edition. I hope that you all enjoyed catching up on E3. I know that I did. I'm just trying to figure out whether or not I did, because my head feels like scrambled eggs right now. All these games. Games.
That's good. There's so many games.
That is good. We will be back next week, hopefully at our usual day and usual time. Obviously follow on Twitter, and we will provide that information to you, or I will update the events on the twitch.tv/TotalBiscuit page. And hopefully we have a show for you next week. I don't know what we're going to talk about now that we've overloaded on E3 topics, but there you go.
There'll be more. I'm sure there'll be more.
There are always more games. Thanks so much for watching. See you guys next time.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.